charge, ready for the fight. Noble hearts and steadfast pride. Detroit spirit, we wear it white. Feel the drive, hear the crowds embrace. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. With a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. With every game, we rise and unite. Fueling the passion, igniting the light. Through highs and lows, we'll stand as one. A legacy, a tale that's just begun. Together we roar, together we grow. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. With a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. So let's lift our voices.
All right. Good morning. Happy Thursday. What is it? Thirsty Thursdays today. Drinking in your Detroit Lions, man. News and rumors all day today. We'll jump into the Eagles a little bit. Big news after. I'm glad somebody else did the report, because hearing about the Ahmed Hassanein story and reporting on that a couple of days ago about getting poached or potentially getting poached. Now somebody actually put it out there, so we can talk about it today. I didn't want to make light of it. I kind of keep things under wraps a little bit. But Ahmed, man, contacted by every single team in the NFL. Loyalty above all else. You know, talking about loyalty last night and Hank Fraley and why he is such a good option for the Lions' next offensive coordinator. Ahmed Hassanein clearly wants to be a Detroit Lion. He is in the right place. We're going to discuss that this morning. We'll get into the injury reports, take a look at your Detroit Lions. We'll have a little bit of video day today. We got plenty of things like Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reed, Davenport, all back in the fold, right? Aiden's ready to rock and roll against Lane. Jared Goff had a lot to say about prep on the Eagles. And A.J. Brown falling apart at the seams in Philadelphia. Big storyline here dropping before the game. Is it a little bit of smoke and mirrors? Eric has a banger of a quote, which you would think would get A.J. Brown in trouble with the NFL, but we're gonna hear what he has to say about the A.J. Brown saga. I doubt we're gonna get into the power rankings and all the QB rankings and everything else, because it's just the way that today's show is probably gonna go. But it's Thirsty Thursday. Drinking your Detroit Lions. Be right back here in just a few moments. Good morning, everybody.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
Good morning to you, Eric.
Hey, good morning. There we are.
There you go.
Now I'm back.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. I'm getting all this stuff brought over this way.
Yeah, I kind of we not only was I not feeling it today, had to regroup, take another shower, wake the hell up again. Hit a brick wall yesterday, man. Long day of travel. Ended up falling asleep in my chair last night doing work, so that means I didn't get a lot done. And that was at like, I don't know, 10:30 or whatever. I woke up to me editing the video. The video was still going for like 2 hours, so I have no idea what happened to the video. Probably still have a lot of work to do. That was supposed to be this morning's video. Didn't happen. Just hit a brick wall, man. Those steroid injections they put in the back of my skull woke me up for like 2 days straight. Apparently I needed some sleep. What's sleep, man? It's so overrated. Like, what's sleep? You know, as you get older, you realize sleep is everything. So we got a lot to get through today. Like happens every day. We have 50 topics. We get through 5. We got like 5 videos to go through. We'll probably get through 3. I definitely want to get into Ahmed Hassanein's video. I think that one's super important. What's the most important one for you after Ahmed?
Probably the AJ one.
Was that it? That was a video too?
No, not a video.
No, I'm saying which videos are the most important for you today out of the media sessions?
Out of the media sessions, probably just the one with Ahmed, and that was the one I watched. I watched the one with Scotty Montgomery talking, was pretty good too. But The one with Jared Goff, Ahmed, and then DJ Reed at the end of that one was pretty good too.
They were all good, dude. The Davenport one was good.
Yeah,
We'll
I like
just-
seeing
we'll-
those guys talk. You know, because
Yeah.
when they were on IR, I don't know if they're allowed.
Hey, good afternoon.
Oop, my bad.
Yeah, I don't know if they're allowed to talk to people when they're on that or not. I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know.
That was cool that I could hear that though, because yesterday I could not hear the videos. I had to do the
Yesterday you couldn't hear the videos?
no, but today I can. So that's awesome.
That's kind of weird. Nothing's changed. Well, actually, a lot changed yesterday. We
Everything changes.
we kind of had a meltdown yesterday with, or was that the day before? Yeah, things were not working well. I don't know about that with IR. I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, they can still be around the team. They can still do team activities. They can still do team meetings. They just can't be on the practice field.
Yeah, but you never hear them talk to the media.
No, you really don't. I don't know if that's a rule. That's a good question. Just have to look at the CBA or
I can
NFL
shoot that
rules.
over to Justin Rogers. He'd know.
yeah, he would know. He usually responds pretty quickly.
Yeah, he does. I'm going to do that right now, actually.
That's a good question, man. You know, park that in the back of your brain for the day. So, hey, good morning to everybody. Big announcement. So, Rockhound Cancer Foundation is going to be supporting 50 families. I did not get my flyer ready for the day. It will be ready this afternoon. But Rockhound Cancer Foundation is going to take care of 50 families this year. I know that there's been a lot going on with the whole EBT SNAP thing. No, this is not a political thing at all for me. It's about people and helping people. That's what Rockhound Cancer Foundation is all about. And no, I'm not going to be able to find 50 families, you know, dealing with cancer this late in the game. But what I can do is I can help out our local community. And I tried, well, not just me. It's also you. A lot of it is you. Almost all of it is you. I tried to get something done in Detroit, and taking on such a big market like that, not having as many relationships as I wish that I had over there, just wasn't coming together quick enough. But I drove anyway, had some conversations, and we're going to get something set up for next year for inner city Detroit. And honestly, I'm trying to piggyback it on Thanksgiving at Ford Field to set up kind of like a big buffet line, maybe get some other Lions fans that are doing, Thanksgiving meals anyway, and just kind of set up a line on the back side of the Comerica park lot where they can literally just kind of walk through, grab some plates, they'll obviously get vouchers or whatever, but if anyone's hungry, they just come up and get something to eat. And partnering with Spartan Nash and being able to do this is huge, man. My heart's full this morning that they're going to step up and help out. But I'm still going to be paying, a big majority of this back to them. And they're also going to be helping out for the future. They've dedicated 3 years to me. Me, you, them. But we will do a donation day. So if you want to help for the future, and if we do get extra money that we can help a few more families out, like the window is now, and I just have to get my order in by next week, Wednesday. And so as long as my order is in by Wednesday, I should have what I need. But anyway, too many veterans. I don't know. Michigan was supposed to help and do something, and then I think it got squashed. But I'm not going to go into the whole legal, political junk. I don't really care. I just care about the families, man. I care about the people. No one should be hungry. I can't imagine little kids, sometimes their only meal of the day is school, and they're not in school that day, right? Might not be in school for a few days. I don't want to see anyone go hungry. And if I can help out 50 people in this community, great. And hopefully it'll get paid forward another day by somebody else. But so it's not just about cancer, man. It's about people. And I think that your Detroit Lions do a great job with that stuff too. And so big hats off to them for all the help that they put into their community. So if you'd like to be part of it and donate, I'm not asking for volunteers or anything like that. This stuff's going to be super easy to do. But if you do want to volunteer next year, absolutely, let's do it. And if you'd like to donate, it's just $10 a family. So it's not a bunch of money. I'll put it up later on this afternoon. So super excited about this one, man. It's something I wanted to do last year. Eric and I talked about it a couple weeks ago that we were trying to do something. I was trying to partner with another fundraiser foundation, but just couldn't figure it out fast enough. And want to make sure that it gets to the people. I know if I'm handing out the boxes, I know it's getting to people. So something I'm used to, right? I've done this before. That's why a lot of these ideas are they're kind of there. I've done it with a lot of companies that I've managed, and always try to give back to people. It's just part of who I am. And I know it's part of who Eric is, and a lot of you in this community too. So good partnerships. But let's get into these lines. News and rumors on a Thursday. Let's drink it in today, and let's see where this is going, man. How confident are we? 1 to 10. How confident are you right now on a Thursday morning for your Detroit Lions taking down the Eagles?
8.
8. Okay.
Yeah. I'm being honest.
That's a little bit more than me.
I'm being honest because I don't think we're going to go in and we're going to just steamroll these guys. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, they have the 19th overall ranked defense, and their offense has not been up to snuff for sure. But these guys are the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions.
The defending Super Bowl champions.
And we're playing them in their house. These guys like to get turnovers. I have a turnover from them in the Packers game. It's playing on my screen right now. And listen, these guys are tough. They're going to be tough. But you know what? This gets to show us what the matchup would have been had we defeated the Commanders last year in the playoffs. Then we would have played the Eagles. And man, did I want the Eagles last year. One of my best performing social media posts was "Bring on the Eagles."
Yeah.
Before the Washington game. I mean, I had hundreds of thousands of comments on my post about the Eagles.
Small exaggeration, but anyway.
No, I'm serious. And we never got to see what it was going to be.
No, and you know what? We would have lost last year. I'm sorry.
I think we would have too, just because our defense was so depleted. This time, these teams are pretty equal as far as who's healthy, who's not, who's going to play, who's not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's too bad.
Well, you had a good a good topic this morning that we'll get to. You know, a couple of good ones. Obviously, every day you got good ones, but it'll be interesting to see. So let's start right away with a little bit of NFL news this morning. Let me get to my stuff. I'm not going to spend a ton of time in the NFL land this morning.
Okay.
But
I do have my 60-second one too.
Yeah, we'll do that in just a moment. I just got to get mine open here.
Well, I'm just letting you know I did do that this morning.
So the NFL news, I'm trying to stick with a little bit of Eagles stuff, right?
And I do have the Eagles injury report up also.
Yeah, I have all that stuff too. We'll get to all that in just a moment. But the thing that I wanted to weigh in on here is Nick Sirianni. Now, you brought this up the other day. Of course, it was after the Monday night game about the 4th down call. And he is still getting just absolutely slayed in the NFL right now. I mean, by a lot of writers around the league. But Jeffrey Knox from the Eagles Wire says Nick Sirianni's infamous 4th down call gets its deserved analytical review. And I thought it was an interesting read. So it starts out where he says it doesn't matter how much we age or how far we venture from something's popularity or its occurrence, which I could think of the Detroit Lions being, the leaders right now of bringing back something that really never existed in the league, which was consistently going for it on 4th down. Or like the coach, I think it was a high school coach that never punted in his entire career. And I believe that that's where a lot of this stuff came from, was that coach. And I can't remember his name. I can't remember which school it was, but it's there. All you got to do is Google the coach that never punted. But some things never grow old, as Knox says, and some conversations still move the needle. And he's talking about like Coke versus Pepsi, Jordan versus LeBron, and yada, yada, yada. Daylight savings time. Please get rid of that. I can't stand daylight savings time. But he says it might be time to add another topic to the list of those discussions, which is Nick Sirianni thinking that on the final 4th down call in Week 10 of the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles season. What was Nick Sirianni thinking on the final 4th down call in Week 10 of the 2025 NFL season is what that should have read. He says, yes, we can revisit that one next time that we are arguing over whether we prefer the Kelly green or the midnight green jerseys. But since the Birds outlasted the Packers, the discussion is now about Nick Sirianni's infamous late game call that continued to fuel a controversy. The head coach has since doubled down on his decision, one that we've also heard may not have been his own. Interesting. So what does this mean? Is there a chance that Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown have gone rogue again? And that's where things started to turn for me. Is this controversy, much like you brought up some controversy this morning to me that I didn't see? It was this article that talks about them going rogue that I'm going to get into next. But what he says here is, regardless of whether you stand on that or kind of here's what we know now, is he said the respected voices such as Seth Joyner that have stated the Philadelphia's Analytics Council may have taken over. How do they inject what they want done in front of a coach is what I was started to gather from this. Like their analytical team or whatever is telling them what to do. Is he even coaching the game? But anyway, Joyner hinted on 94 WHIP FM that the Eagles' obsession with numbers has played a role into this decision. Numbers are great. Analytics are great. Stats are great. You know that I love them. That's what I do. I'm a little bit crazy, psycho, stat guy. That's just, my whole life has been involved in numbers. You know, when you train thousands of people around the country, numbers are everything that you have when you can't be in front of them. And unfortunately, you become a number in a system, and that's how the evaluations go. For most of anybody's position that they're in, it's all about the numbers, especially if you're in sales. So anyway, what he says here is the analytics agreed with the rest of us, is what he's saying. That's certainly how it seems anyway, is throwing the bomb down to the left sideline to A.J. Brown may not have been the best way to manage the game after all. Duh. I mean, why? But just in case you're interested, the analytics say the Eagles should have punted. After some thorough research, we found an answer to the analytics theory. And then he says, just kidding. We just took a quick trip over to the X platform and found Seth Walder's handle, where he says the model liked punt a lot. Quarter 4, 33 seconds, up by 3, 4th and 6 at the Green Bay 35. Punt recommendation was a plus 4.9% higher over field goal or go for it. So the option was the recommendation, punt. And he went for it. But he didn't just go for it. They threw the ball down the field way further than they needed to. You know, whether they were just trying to close it out with a quick strike touchdown and catch somebody sleeping, you're not the Lions. Like we've done that. And we've done that consistently. Whether it's first down or touchdown score late on a fourth down, fourth quarter situation, the Lions have been doing this every year. And I think every team has really taken notice to this over the last 2 seasons. They've started to bring in more fourth down calls, which is a natural progression to the league anyway. When you look at every possession as 4 downs, not 3, it totally changes what you do schematically. Dan Campbell has mentioned that multiple times, as well as other coaches, that what you're doing on 3rd down is not the same anymore. But what you do on 4th down is critical to how the game goes. So now that this really won't change Sirianni's mind as to what he did state that he stands by his decision in a post-game press conference, and he also restated the same during the midweek call this week, that he stood by throwing the ball downfield, going for it on 4th down when the punt would have been just fine. But at the 35-yard line, do you not take a risk there for what would that be, a 52-yard field goal? And I don't know the health of their kicker. Honestly, I don't even know if they have the kicker that they started with this year. I really don't know. I haven't looked. So I don't know I don't know if the perception on all of this is that he should have punted, should have went for it, should have punted, should have kicked it, or should have went for it. I don't know. I guess I'm asking you. The first poll of the day was, will the Lions beat the Eagles by more than 10 points? 61% say yes. 44 votes. I'm going to end that. And now we're going to put up another poll. Should he have punted? And I know that we don't want to spend our whole day carrying what Nick Sirianni does. But Eric, should he have punted?
Yes. They should have done a squib punt.
A squib punt?
Yes. So
just a little dribbler to kind of hopefully get out of bounds?
You don't want it to go up in the air. You want a low velocity, and you want that ball to hit the ground, and you want it to tumble.
You used to be a punter, right?
Yep. It's exactly what you want to do. You want to hit a knuckleball. You want
that's a tough ball.
You want that ball to just spin. Okay. And you want it to hit at about the 15-yard line, maybe even sooner, but a real low trajectory. Don't give it a lot of time. Let it bounce all over the place. You want to take as much time off of that clock as possible during that play. So let's say they took 5 seconds off by punting, and they get a net 30 more yards out of that play. Okay. That means the Packers would have had 5 seconds less, so they wouldn't have got those last 2 plays in. And they basically would have only had time for a Hail Mary. They wouldn't have had time for any of this other stuff. It would have just sealed the game for them that much quicker and that much easier if they would have just punted the ball. I think that them going for it on 4th down was asinine. It was horrible. That was a horrible call. And I don't think it was 2 players going rogue. I don't think there's any way it could have been 2 players going rogue, because otherwise the head coach would have been doing this. He would have been going timeout, timeout, timeout. Why is my offense on the field?
No. Okay, so no, that's not the case of them going rogue that way. It was the play itself.
Oh, I gotcha.
It
Maybe
wasn't.
They were supposed to run a quick.
Yes,
hit for 5 yards.
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't the fact that they were going for it on 4th down. So if I were to open the rest of it up and what they were talking about, it was Nick Sirianni is kind of going to cover for his players, right? I guess that's what they're saying, and he'll take all of the bullets if that means that ensuring the trust and continuity in the Eagles locker room, stays firm, right? And so in this instance, what they were talking about was back in December of 2023, when after a loss to the Seahawks, A.J. Brown had admitted to the media that Sirianni is constantly taking the blame for things that his players are doing. And the case in point, one example was the controversy surrounding Jalen Hurts' decision to go deep to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith on plays rather than taking what Seattle's defense was giving the Eagles. And while he addressed the media, Brown hinted that the Eagles' pass catchers were freelancing and doing their own thing down the stretch of that loss. The reason why I brought this in, which I didn't have your information of what you said about A.J. Brown. So before I finish this, what did A.J. Brown say? Was it a video game or something?
All right. A.J. Brown says, quote, "If you have me in fantasy, drop me. And the Eagles offense is a shit show."
Yeah. So he says this, right? So what do you think he was thinking in the game last week when they're going, we're going for it on 4th down, and maybe they were freelancing? Remember, we used to have an issue with J-Mo, quote unquote, or reported freelancing, because he did a lot of freelancing in Alabama, and that's why a lot of things were not working in the beginning. One, it was the playbook, and he was freelancing. Well, that's kind of since gone away. J-Mo's played incredibly well. Man, the blocking videos the other day, holy shit, really good stuff. But anyway, Hurts was sick, I guess, that night against Seattle back in 23. And he was intercepted twice, and passes were broken up several times. Open targets were missed. And so it kind of led to this slippery slope of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith freelancing, not taking the routes that they were supposed to. Maybe it was their first route and just going downfield. And so on this play, did they just go downfield? It was thrown to A.J. Brown, right? It was A.J. Brown.
Yep.
Yeah, it was thrown to A.J. Brown. And so based on what A.J. Brown just said, the offense is a shit show. Drop me if you have me on your fantasy. One, that to me sounds like he should be in trouble for something. Like, I don't know if you can make a statement like that as a player, that kind of stating you're not going to get the ball. You know what I mean?
Well, and then he comes out yesterday and he says that he is not apologizing for his remarks, and that it was him. He confirmed it was him that was the individual in the recent Twitch live stream playing Madden who expressed frustration with his role, and he firmly stated that he is not apologizing for his remarks.
I get it. Like, you can be pissed off that you're not getting the ball, you're not involved in the offense. Look, that's the difference right now between A.J. Brown's prima donna and Jameson Williams having his head on his shoulders. That's the difference. Of course, A.J. Brown wants to win, but he wants to be more involved in the game plan. Jameson Williams wants to win, but he knows that he's got to go out there and work for it. And look, no block, no rock. Well, he's blocking his ass off, which means now that Dan Campbell's calling plays, he's going to get the rock a whole lot more. He's earned it. He's been earning it.
Mm-hmm.
And look, that's the difference between these two teams. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're going to see us take down the Eagles on Sunday night, because this team is playing for each other. The Eagles seem to be a bunch of I's and me's, and that never works. I'm sorry, but when you see people online or in YouTube or whatever, and it's always me, I.
Yeah.
Look, I am no good without you. I am no good without the audience. I am no good without the media doing their job. I am no good without the players giving us their tidbits, right? I just have to put it all together. But that doesn't make me better than anyone else. But A.J. Brown feels like he's better than everybody else. And whether they're winning games or not, he feels like he should be the main target. Just doesn't work that way. And if you have this shit attitude, well, obviously you're not going to get the football.
Yeah.
You gotta
He said a few other things. He insisted his discontent is not new and should be obvious to observers, telling reporters, if you have eyes, you can see that. It's the same things I've been saying all season.
Interesting. So anyway, that's your quick recap on what happened on the fourth down call and how we've now gone down this slippery slope that maybe there's a little bit more going on internally with the Eagles. And I love that, right? As a competitor, I love that. I want my opponent to be distracted. And if I'm the Lions, I'm sorry. So like I would play the game. And if I'm distracted, I'm going to try to hype this up, right? I'm going to try to get in their head. And especially during the game, I'm hoping that there's going to be a little bit of chatter going on. This is going to be a game. Look, there's going to be some pushing and shoving going on in this game. There might even be a couple of scuffles in this game. I see these two teams going at each other. They don't really have bad blood, but that stadium, those fans, they are so hostile. They are 1,000 more times hostile than we are. It is such a negative energy place to any other fan or team. Hell, they even hate each other. But it's not the city of like brotherly love like they think it is.
So do you think this year, all these fights with Detroit Lions, do you think it's Detroit Lions players causing all of this turmoil, or is it just, we're the team everyone is after now? Because you have Brian Branch punching Juju Smith-Schuster, and then then you have this whole Daron Payne punching Amon-Ra. Why are we getting so much of this punching and after the play and all these penalties for this dumb crap this year?
Look, when you are the target of the league, it's gonna happen. People want you, and they want to take their best shot at you. And when you're running roughshod all over them, that's a little bit of an ego buster, right? And so I have no doubt in my mind that some of our guys like to talk. I don't think Amon-Ra talks a whole bunch. He's even said that. He really doesn't talk a whole bunch. Jameson never really chirps it up. But there's a couple of guys. I know Alex Anzalone doesn't chirp it up. Hell, even Aiden Hutchinson doesn't chirp it up. But then again, you've noticed a couple of times this year from all those guys getting into it a little bit, with everybody. I mean, Aiden, getting into it, and I mean, that glance of a trip or whatever, like that's just uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah.
So I would say this. I would say that when you're trying to get in your opponent's head, you're going to do it at any means necessary. And when it's not working and you're getting your ass kicked, of course you're going to take that a certain special way, and you're going to do what you can to kind of create something. However, I'll say this too. The Lions play a very rough and tumble type of football. Like, they come in to smack you in the mouth. And I don't think that these teams expect it, because they're not going up against other teams that are playing as hard as we are. And what I mean, like, you look at the Vikings and what they did to us. You look at the Packers and what they did to us in week 1. That's the kind of football we play. Tough, gritty. I mean, I don't care if it's my mom on the other side. I'm coming at you kind of football. And that doesn't resonate well with some of these guys. Like, they don't like to be hit. They don't like to be punched in the mouth, literally or figuratively. It's not something that they expect. Yeah, they expect a good, hard-fought football game, but the Lions go extra, and they hit. And that's why they do live hitting in practice, where you have other teams like the Eagles. Darius Slay on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast last year said, we would never do that. Pat Surtain said the same thing. We would never do that. We would never line up and do live drills like that, live hitting drills with our star players. And y'all are going crazy. Who was that said that? Avonte Maddox said it this year when he came in and said, we never did this in Philly. We never practiced this hard. So when you practice like that, you're going to play like that. And a lot of these teams don't expect it. So I just think that we are the team that has kind of taken the league by storm. Great story. You know, you got a bunch of guys that maybe not the biggest, brightest lights in the NFL that are showing up and playing big time ball and just outclassing the rest, you know, and they want you. So they're going to try to create penalties. And I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to create penalties. Speak on the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing. So I didn't really finish following any of that. Is there any chatter on him getting a suspension?
I have not seen anything. Now, all of these clickbait people online are putting out all these videos and all these things about, is Amon-Ra going to get a suspension? Is Amon-Ra going to get a fine?
Well, I think it would have come out by now.
It would have came out by now. It would have been done by now. All the fines for last week are already handed out. I don't think they're going to go digging into something that happened 5 days ago to see, oh, did this happen? Did that happen? Listen, last week during the Vikings game, Aiden Hutchinson got flagged for a tripping, correct? And I'm pretty sure he got a little fine for that afterward. Mr. Parsons did basically the exact same thing in the Eagles game the other night. He didn't get a flag. And as far as I know, he didn't get a fine this week. And just because a fan goes through and watches every single play of every single game and finds one little penalty that somebody missed, doesn't mean the NFL is going to go back and give you a fine. It would have to be something so blatant, you know, that if they missed it, it would just have to be super, super blatant. I don't know how they could go back after the fact and give. I've never heard of somebody a week later getting a fine for something that happened a week prior. I don't know if it's ever happened. I don't know if there's like a limit of, you know, a statute of limitations or what on fines in the NFL. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I do know this. The video that I watched wasn't very clear.
It looked like he pushed him.
Well, what it looked like to me is in the very beginning, like there was a little bit of hand fighting going on, and like Amon-Ra was like pushing his hand away, and then Payne walked up really close to him. And I don't know if Amon-Ra was pushing his hands away again and glanced his face mask, but the ref was literally right there, one foot away.
Basically between them.
Right. And if Amon-Ra would have punched him, that ref would have no recourse but to throw a flag. And I forgot to touch on this other thing.
And if anyone had a good view of it, it was that ref.
Oh, for sure.
He had the ultimate view of it. Now, I'm surprised that there was no flags thrown on that play. But, hey, if Amon-Ra got away with one, he got away with one.
Well, you know, sometimes I don't think the Lions were the aggressors, right? I don't think that they were aggressors in the situation. And like Brian Branch, he got his penalty and suspension and fined because he retaliated. And I think that in this case, the Commanders were the aggressors and retaliating. So Kinlaw should have been fined at a minimum for doing what he did to Jared Goff, coming across the line, getting in his face. That should have been intimidating, and he should have been fined absolutely, flag thrown, 15-yard penalty. However, there was also something that happened this play, and I'm trying to find it because I can't remember the exact phrasing. Maybe you know.
Yeah, Goff was
Well,
talking
no,
about.
no, not that. In the Commanders game, so there was supposed to be 2 Commanders that were ejected. You had the one that Dron Payne, I believe, he brushed up against the ref or hit the ref or whatever. That's what drew the flag along.
Yep.
Or no, was that Kinlaw?
Kinlaw hit the ref. and he
Kinlaw
was
hit
not
the ref,
ejected.
was not ejected, should have been. Payne was ejected for hitting St. Brown. And the ref said, allegedly, they did not want to eject 2 players on the same play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how the effing rules work, buddy.
No, it should have been a double penalty.
Double
and it should have
ejection.
Been double ejection.
Yep. So that was just
that's
added
one of
to
the
the
penalties.
that was added to video number 2, which even though it's not about the Lions getting screwed, the video number 2 is more so about the inequalities of the NFL refereeing and all of the issues that are going on there. And that's almost done, man. I'm trying to really put this thing together. I'm already bleeding into video 3, but eventually it's going to be way past the point, but hopefully, it still resonates with the fans, which, by the way, yesterday I put out a post on the channel. There's been people trying to say like, you copy things or this, that, and the other. 2,203 subscribers on 6 videos in 28 days. Just 6 of the videos that I pulled off my channel. 2,203 subscribers, all organic, all topics that no one else has done. And I look at that and I'm like, man, this is why I love this community so much, because you do content that resonates with fans a different way. And I think that I do that. I think that we do that. We talk about a lot of things every morning show. And just because we can't fit it all in a thumbnail or a title, and I really don't do descriptions anymore, I got boilerplate descriptions most of the time, I don't really highlight everything that we talk about. If I had more time, if I had someone that wanted to do descriptions for me and do all the chapters, by all means, I'd pay someone to do it at this point. So I just found it really heartwarming that the shit that people talk is just shit. That's all it is. And I know in my heart what I do and what I don't do. Those 6 videos tell you enough. Someone tried to say that I was a cheater buying subscribers. Number 1, I would never do that. That kills your channel. If you ever buy subscribers, it'll kill your channel. I've promoted one thing, and that was 6 weeks ago, just because I was trying to learn how to set it up. And I ended up getting charged for it because I guess I hit the promotion all the way through. But it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything anyway. So, anyway.
So I got a little message back from Justin Rogers.
Cool.
And I asked players. Oh, no, he said, oh, okay. So he sent me 2 things here. So I asked, hey, Justin, when a player like DJ Reed or Davenport are on IR, are they required to talk to beat writers? And he said, players are adults and can do as they please. Most choose not to, since what is there to talk about other than rehab they can't control? I had casual conversations with both while they were on IR because it's important to show players you view them as people, not just subjects to be interviewed. And then he put...
I'm sorry, say that again. Say that again, like recap it.
He said that players are adults and they can do as they please. Most choose not to talk while they're on IR, since really what's there to talk about. But he did have casual conversations with a few of them while they were on IR. And
so basically saying that if they want to go on the media, they can.
Yeah. And
so see, my question is do you have to? Because you know that there is a certain level of media that I guess players have to do every year.
Yeah, so I got that next.
Okay.
And I should add that players are required to talk to the media at least once per week, but players on IR are exempt from that requirement. Only players prohibited from talking are those in concussion protocol for obvious reasons.
Yeah, of course, their mental could be off.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why he would throw in there about being adults. Like, what is that all about?
I don't know. That just I was just wondering, if they're required to or not. And apparently they are required to talk to the media once a week as long as they're not in concussion protocol, but they don't have to if they're on IR.
So then where's all this media going then? Do they just have to be available, or do they have to talk to the media? Because you don't see 69 players being interviewed, and you don't see 69 videos. You don't see 69 articles coming out every week.
Yeah.
So where's all the media then? Or do you just have? I think you just wondering if you just have to be available. Maybe a better, I don't know. Maybe a little bit more clarity would have been good, but I'll look it up. I'll get his answer. But I appreciate him getting back to you so quickly. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Next thing, Philadelphia Eagles. They're getting back Jacorian Bennett before the game. So Philadelphia received good news at the quarterback position as they activated Jacorian Bennett after placing Jair Alexander on retired list on Wednesday. Jacorian Bennett was placed on injured reserved after Philadelphia's Week 3 win against the Rams. So just like what I think is going on with the Lions, we've been stashing players on IR, stashing players, through NFI, bringing them back when we absolutely needed them. You really don't have spots for these guys right now, the way that this roster is constructed. The Eagles kind of doing the same thing. They didn't plan on Jair Alexander retiring, and Bennett has been available to come back since like week 8 or week 7. And so now he's back into the fold. The Eagles have bounced between Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo at starting outside corner next to Quinton Mitchell. Bennett could now enter the mix when he does return to game action. It is not supposed to be, from what I understand, this weekend. He's been activated, but doesn't seem like he's going to get up for the week, at least as reported right now. So they're getting a little bit healthier as well. Anything else in the NFL news? Let's get around it in 60 seconds. Be right back, and then we'll do your 60 seconds.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
Seconds.
All right. Today in Around the League in 60 seconds, this is just a snippet of yesterday's NFL news. The Arizona Cardinals, 3-7, received devastating news yesterday as head coach Jonathan Gannon confirmed that rookie superstar Marvin Harrison Jr. underwent an emergency appendectomy on Monday and will be out for this week's game against the 49ers. With Kyle Murray already on injured reserve, the Cardinals offense, which is also missing Zay Jones, is now without its top quarterback and top 2 wide receivers. The San Francisco 49ers are still in quarterback limbo. Brock Purdy was once again limited participant in practice yesterday with a lingering turf toe injury. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said practice for Purdy will be aggressive this week, but his status for Sunday's game against the Cardinals remains a major question mark as backup Mac Jones continues to take first-team reps. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles received some good news from their walkthrough yesterday as they prepare for a Sunday night battle with the Detroit Lions. Starting offensive lineman Cam Jurgens' knee and Lane Johnson ankle were both listed as limited participants. While it was only a walkthrough, it's a positive sign for the health of their offensive line after a physical Monday night win against the Green Bay Packers. The Los Angeles Rams are rolling on a 4-game win streak, but they have a key injury to watch. Star receiver Devontae Adams did not practice yesterday with an oblique injury he suffered in the team's dominant 42-26 win over the San Francisco 49ers. Head coach Sean McVay, however, told reporters he fully expects Adams to be ready for the critical Week 11 showdown with the Seattle Seahawks. And then finally, the Kansas City Chiefs are holding their breath over the status of their star running back, as Isaiah Pacheco did not participate in yesterday's practice due to a new knee injury. Pacheco is the heart of the Chiefs' rushing attack, and his potential absence would put even more pressure on Patrick Mahomes and the passing game. Pass rusher George Karlaftis was also limited with a thumb injury, making for a concerning Wednesday injury report in Kansas City. And that's around the league in 60 seconds.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, we're back. Good update there on the NFL here around the league in 60 seconds. So far this morning, we've recapped a little bit of what's going on here with the Eagles, the Nick Sirianni, fourth down blunder call, which, I mean, that could have totally blown up in their face. Could you imagine had they intercepted that ball and ran it back for 6? Like that.
If the Packers just would have tied or won the game.
Yeah. Instead of send it into overtime. Like, man, oh man, that would have not been good for us, right? I mean, obviously, it would not have been good for us.
But whether they won that game or not, just the fact that blunder happened, it should not have happened. That was all coaching, 100%. I put that on the coach, not on the players. You don't trot your offense out on 4th and 9. I'm sorry. Or 4th and 6, whatever it was. It was long.
So Thursday, I'm going to get this fixed today at some point. Make sure you guys get your Honolulu Blue coffee at buymeacoffee.com/rocked on. We are going to be running a coffee special here pretty soon. We are loaded up for the season. There's a link for you in the chat, which apparently I don't know how to spell thirsty, but it's Thirst Thursday. So coffee special will be hitting soon. But right now, the $25 when you buy the 12-ounce coffee of whole beans. We are doing ground beans now too. It's a medium grind. What I mean by that, it's not a super grind because then the flavor profile changes. And the way that I have this coffee roasted, it works perfect with a 1/3 cup of beans, medium chunky grind, 8 ounce or the 8 level on your coffee maker, or like 2 full bottles of 16.9 ounce water. Matter of fact, I do about 35 ounces of water, and it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It tastes great. I use International House caramel macchiato, and then I blend a little bit of the International House pumpkin spice with it. Great fall taste and flavor. This coffee goes good with any flavor. I haven't had a bad one yet. Anyway, check it out. It does support Rocked On Cancer Foundation. That's why it's $25, because the average shipping cost is about $8 for a bag. And by the time we get it sent to you, we might make $5 per bag. And that's just because ever since these tariffs went nuts, coffee went up like crazy amount.
Try selling flashlights.
Yeah, I mean, it totally bit into any profit margin that we were very little on. So if you are a member, if you do join the Elite membership, which is $30 a month, we send out quarterly boxes now, not monthly. And that was so that we could save about $10 to $12 in shipping cost by sending it. It's crazy that it's almost the same price to send 3 bags it is to send 1. So you get a quarterly box now with 3 bags of coffee. And I am going to change up the wording in this a little bit because the goal was to do a little bit of Lions gear and a little bit of coffee. And now I might do like 2 bags of coffee, or I might split it up if I can add another tier where we do the Lions merch or the coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like something. But I usually throw something in there like, poker chips or koozies or, whatever I get from the game or programs, whatever. So anyway, if you do become an elite member, you get really good coffee at a really affordable price. $90 goes a long way when you buy coffee, but the coffee should last you about 3 months. Depends how much coffee you drink, but I go through.
I like what Kurt Hartshorn put in here. He says, "Does it have a bourbon flavor profile?"
No. These are not oak barreled coffee beans.
Never heard of coffee with bourbon flavor before.
No, like I could do that. It would just take a little bit longer to cure the beans. And I would have to buy all the barrels. And look, I'm not like I'm a coffee connoisseur, but I'm not that good.
Just buy a bottle and put a little in.
Yeah, you can make it taste like bourbon if that's your thing. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
me neither.
I don't know, but it does have an amazing flavor. If you've never had it, it's amazing. At least I think so. I know all the reviews have been great. And if you do buy a bag, leave us a review. Tell everybody about it. I do got to put it on the regular website, DetroitFootballJournal.com. You'll be able to get, you can go in there and support. If you do go to DetroitFootballJournal.com, there is a link that'll take you to the Rockhound Cancer Foundation, which is hosted on Buy Me a Coffee. Eventually, I'll be able to add a store to my website when I actually get the new website made for next year. We did have a regular website at one point, but the guy that built it for me that I paid a ton of money to in Chicago just disappeared after like 10% of the website was up and running and I was able to write. Just disappeared. And I don't know where he went. He traveled to some other country and never heard from him again.
Gotta love that stuff.
I didn't check ID or anything. I don't know. I just hired the dude offline.
I am the most inept person when it comes to computers and online stuff. I had to learn all this stuff that I've learned because of my situation with finding this rock and stuff. So I am so glad that I have my guy Isaac that did everything for me. He worked for a bunch of major companies like Kellogg's and did a bunch of stuff for some of these big
brand companies,
prescription companies that did like, I don't know, not Ozempic, but stuff like that, And so this guy is really on it and he does a fantastic job. Cost me an arm and leg, but man, does he ever do a good job, because I would never, I'd never know how to do any of this stuff.
But now things are a lot easier because AI can pretty much build you just about anything now. If you know what you're doing. And that's like, to build a website today, if it cost you more than $1,000 to build a website, I would be highly surprised. A lot of people are doing like 3-page websites for like $500, and they're actually really nice websites. Like Substack didn't cost me anything. I built it, and it cost me $50 to put my domain on it. And I think it's a pretty good website just to write a blog, and you can add and do. There's way more stuff that I could do that I don't know how to do, but building websites are so inexpensive now. It's definitely a good spot to be in if you got a young child that doesn't know what they want to do with their life. Like, learn AI, learn how to website, learn how to code, and like that's the future, unfortunately. Like, it has been the future for a while, but now it's really the future. All right, let's get into some video time here. I want to start with Ahmed Hassanein because this, I kind of knew what was going on. We spoke about it the other day when he made it back to the roster. But the story is Ahmed Hassanein was nearly poached. And it wasn't just by one team or 3 teams or 5 teams. It was all 31. Every team in the league contacted Ahmed Hassanein during that 3-week period of open transition back to the Lions. And he spent, 2+ months driving by the Lions practice facility, wishing he could just go inside. He was a free agent. And I think a lot of people forget that. He, couldn't go and do anything. Hassanein was the team's 6th-round pick, obviously this year in the 2025 NFL draft. He was waived with the injury settlement and coming out of training camp, injured himself in that, was it the second preseason game, I think it was, or the final preseason game? But anyway, the Lions were confident that he would be back. And when it was all said and done, they were right. Obviously, we had a lot of questions going into this. We had a little bit of uneasy feeling. One, we didn't know enough about what or who Ahmed was going to become. I can't say that his time in the preseason games were exciting. Like, he didn't do anything from my perspective that was, I don't know who's calling right now, but we're not taking calls at this moment. He didn't do anything from my perspective that really stood out a whole lot. He didn't play poorly, but he didn't do anything that really stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a lot in practice when I was at practice, and I was confident that I thought he was going to be a really good football player at some point. But where I got to learn, and you did too, like talking with Corey, on a daily for a few weeks, or a little over 5 weeks, whatever it was, and learning about him and his story and the background and who he is, and that to me carries more weight, because if you have all of that, which is the energy and the drive and the persistence and the background and that fight, I did the story the other day when I did the video. The story was so impressive. Man, if this guy can just play, even at a minimum level, a top 50 edge in a rotation, by year 2 or 3, I think he's going to be one of the better edge guys in the league. But we don't know yet. And what we kept hearing from him from the very beginning, we got on the phone after he was drafted, and he says, "I would die for you, coach." That's just how much he wants to play. And there was something about his loyalty that never wavered. He was contacted, like I said, by 31 other teams trying to get him to join their practice squad. But it was always about the Lions. It was always about getting back to where he started and building with the coaches and the executives and the teammates that believed in him since day one. Article put out by Benjamin Raven at mlive.com captured a few quotes, captured the story, and then we're going to listen to Ahmed Hassanein here in just a moment. But quote by Ahmed, he says, "I'm a loyal guy, and this team picked me for a reason. And I truly feel like this is the best team for me. And this team means everything to me, because when somebody picks me, I'm a loyal guy, man. I stick with them, and I don't want to leave." He says, and I was talking to my agent, and he was telling me like, "Oh, yeah, 31 teams called and just asking about you." And I was like, "Man, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here because this is where I want to be. And this team believes in me. And I love them, and I'm not going anywhere." Hassanein was cleared in week 7. He then had to wait the 3 extra weeks due to the injury settlement. He suffered a pectoral injury late in the preseason game, forcing Brad Holmes to make this tough decision. And that decision was not to waste an IR position and waived him with the injury settlement. But Holmes was adamant in his belief that Hassanein would be back on the field for the Lions, and that's why the video that I did said promises made, promises kept. They both made a promise to each other. Ahmed Hassanein said, "No matter what, I'm coming back." And Brad Holmes said to him, which I don't know this conversation, I'm paraphrasing here, or subjective guess, is, "If you're going to come back, we want you back. Doors open. We want to have you back." And so when two people shake hands on something and then it comes to fruition, like it's not just the America that I love. It's not the adult behavior that I love. You know what I mean? But there's something about shaking someone's hand and not getting stabbed in the back later, which seems to happen to me consistently over the last couple of weeks because I live rent-free in someone's head. But getting stabbed in the back because, there was something better on the table, or, you wanted a few extra bucks in your pocket. It wasn't about money to Ahmed. It was about staying put and wanting to be with the team that chose him. So he said, I just stayed here. I drove every day and I saw the facility and I was like, man, I really want to go in there and say hi. But it was tough. But I'm just grateful for it to be here and finally have a locker. You know, I'm really grateful for that. To have a number, to go in and get treatment, to have tubs, to have meals ready, to have shakes, to have vitamins. Like he's so funny about the food. Do you remember when he was talking about the food in the very beginning? Like, the food is so great. Like, that was the first question. It's like, what do you love about being here? Detroit? He's like, the food. I love the food. So when you have a guy, I don't care who it is, when your joy comes from something that simple, my God, we need more people like that. But this is what he's grateful for, man. He's grateful to be back in Detroit. He really wanted to be the best version of himself and do everything that he could do to help this team, and I think that he will. I have all the confidence in him. And the last quote that I'll share with you, or last two quotes, is he said, it meant everything, man. It was like me back on the field, and I just took a deep breath, and I was just like, man, it is such a blessing to be practicing again, to be able to strike a sled, to be able to just be moving again and just have teammates again and see the new team, see them do the same thing, and just like, man, oh, I want to get better at this, and oh, I want to do this move now, you know, because he's learning all these new things. And the last quote that I'll share is he says, I'm super, super grateful to be out there, and I prayed, and I was like, man, God, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be back on the field. This means everything to me, and I'm never, ever going to take it for granted again. It's a blessing. I'm going to attack every single day like it's my last day. The only sticking point to me is where he said, I'm not going to take it for granted again. I don't know. Did he ever take it for granted? I don't know what he meant by that. Maybe it's just a language, barrier or something. You know what I mean? I don't know why he would say that. I don't think he's ever taken this for granted. At least I don't get that from him. But man, what a great story, man.
When you listen to him, you can tell that English is not his first language. So saying again, I think that was just a faux pas. That was just part of the language barrier. So yeah, listen to the way he talks. It is so incredible to hear someone that is actually really loyal.
Yeah.
And that's what I took out of this, above and beyond anything else, that this kid, no matter what, he's never going anywhere. If he has the chance to re-sign with the Lions, hometown discount, whatever, I think this kid could come out, be the best edge rusher ever. He could be the next Myles Garrett, whatever. And when it comes up to contract time, you guys sign me. I'll take whatever you guys give me. I'm good. I don't think he's out to money is like a side thing for him. Mm-hmm. This is all about the mission that he's on, and he is here to help this team win, and that is it. So you all these young people nowadays, like, my kids included and stuff, there's no loyalty anymore. There's just not. People flip and flop all the time. So it's really nice to see when someone has the same type of loyalty morals as I do. You know what I mean? When I get a job, I stick with that job for a long time. I worked at the casino for 15 years. I missed one day of work in 15 years. I would have went to war for those guys just because that was the place I worked for, No matter how they treated me, I stuck around for 15 years. And they didn't always treat me the best, but I was loyal. Never went anywhere else, even though I had opportunities to go somewhere else. So I like that about Ahmed Hassanein. I love it. I love his story. To this day, I wish we could still have Corey on. I really miss having him on with his insights.
Yeah, he kind of got himself in trouble a little bit because of his one take, I guess, that they didn't really care for. But, speaking of people like flip-flopping and, stabbing in the back, like, I would have never expected a certain individual to be doing that. And I guess I'm not surprised. And you can't trust anybody. But I literally have 50, 60 text messages that I think would blow people away. You can't believe what people say anymore, how they act, and what their natural intentions really are. And I guess it's one of those things where I've always had to
adopt my saying.
I do, but I've always kept a small circle for a reason. And
Delete, block, and move on, my friend.
Oh yeah,
it will change your world.
Oh, I know. It's the same thing that I've told other people too in the past, and I try to deal with it the best way I can. But they're just not going to like how I deal with it, and hopefully it'll wake them up, but maybe it won't. So Ahmed Hassanein, Kurt, I saw that you called. We'll try to open up phone lines here at the end if I can. But when the call now button is on, which looks like this, flashes across the top of the screen. When that is on, that's when we're taking calls. So I'm going to turn it back off right now because I want to get into this video of Ahmed Hassanein. It's about 6 minutes. Let's hear what this gentleman has to say. And it was lobster. Someone put that in there. Was it Derek Lewis?
Yeah.
Was it a lobster roll or something?
Lobster mac and cheese.
Lobster mac and cheese?
Yeah,
man, I want a lobster roll. I need to get my ass up to Maine.
Lobster mac and cheese is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought it was kind of a dumb concept.
Oh, no.
And then I had it for the first time in like a real restaurant with real lobster, not just some fake stuff they put in there. And oh my God, is that good.
So not to get too off subject, but I have a conundrum every early August because Megan and I like to do the 127 sale where we travel from here to Alabama down US 127. And that is usually like the first week of August or at the last week of July into August.
Yep.
Well, what I like to do is
Thursday through Sunday in August every year.
I like to go to Maine because they have the Lobster Fest the same damn time. So I haven't been able to go to it now for like 5-6 years. Yeah. But I got a couple of guys up there that every year they used to send me boxes of lobsters and crabs and I would get soft shell lobsters and soft shell crabs, all sorts of stuff when I was running the restaurants and even when I was doing my own big backyard parties. So normally, a box that might cost about $10K, I'd be getting for like $1,000 right off the ship. And you're talking like dozens and dozens of pounds of lobsters and crabs and that. We used to have some crazy cool boils in that. I miss doing it.
Freezer.
I miss doing it, man. Well, I hate to freeze it, but
I'd have to go buy a freezer for that.
Maybe this next year I'll try to put it together. But like my tailgates, when we actually do get to do them next year, I failed everybody. Timing didn't work out. Sickness didn't work out. But that's the kind of shit I'm gonna be doing. Stuff. Yeah. Sorry, I got a language barrier. I got a language problem today. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff I'll be doing. Really high end food. So when it costs $50 to get in, you're not getting tacos. You're not getting hot dogs. Yeah, we might have some stuff around, but it's gonna be some good high end foods. Coming from a fine dining background.
I had a lobster baked potato also.
I've never had that.
Out of this world good. So good. Had like a lobster gravy and then a piece of lobster in the potato.
The potato was just because, right? It was just the boat to put it in.
Yeah.
Right? Forget the potato.
Oh my God.
All right. Ahmed Hassanein. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go up and order some food in a minute if you keep talking about food. Here we go. Ahmed Hassanein. No, we need volume. That would help. I got you muted.
The decision to waive you with an injury settlement, he was confident, bottom line, he's going to be a Detroit Lion. Just what was your side of that equation?
I mean, it was absolutely the same. I mean, I'm a loyal guy, and this team picked me for a reason, and I truly feel like this is the best team for me, and this team means everything to me, and because when somebody picks me, I'm a loyal guy, man. I stick with them, and I don't.
What just happened?
I don't know. That was strange. We got screaming nothing.
Yeah, the screen was playing and then it disappeared. OBS has another update, and I think that this is what they're trying to fix.
Gremlins.
Oh, it's like totally gone. Hold on.
Hey, there it's back.
There we go. Now I just have to get the audio turned on. Where did the audio go?
Yeah, it was a little screaming,
Yeah, I heard that,
a little distorted. Yeah.
which doesn't make any sense. So let me turn that way down to start. I'll adjust it. Give me a
When
second.
we talked to Brad about the decision
There
to
we go.
waive you with an injury settlement, he was confident, bottom line, he's going to be a Detroit Lion. Just what was your side of that
I
equation?
mean, it was absolutely the same. I mean, I'm a loyal guy, you know, and this team picked me for a reason, and I truly feel like this is the best team for me, and this team means everything to me, you know, and because when somebody picks me, I'm a loyal guy, man. I stick with them, and I don't want to leave. And I was talking to my agent, and he was telling me like, oh yeah, like 31 called, and he was asking about you, and I was like, man, I am not going anywhere. I'm staying here because this is where I want to be, and this team believes in me, and I love them, you know, and I'm not going anywhere. So
When did you get cleared?
I got cleared like week 7.
Okay.
Week 8, I was starting to bench again. I was starting to do everything again. But, you know, I had to wait like additional 3 weeks because of the NFL rules and stuff like that. Yeah.
How long did it take you to feel back to normal then? If you've been cleared for a certain amount of weeks, I'm assuming you've been working out. What did it feel like when you took the field today?
Man, it felt like such a blessing. You know, it meant everything, man. It's just like to be back on the field, and I took a deep breath, and I was just like, man, it's such a blessing to be able to be practicing again, to be able to strike a sled, to be able to, man, just to be moving again, and just to have teammates and see them do the same thing, and just like, man, oh, I want to get better at this. Oh, I want to do this move now, and I was like, it's just a blessing, man. I'm super grateful to be out there, and I prayed, and I was like, man, God, thank you. You know, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be back on that field, and man, this means everything to me, and I'm never ever gonna take it for granted again. You know, it's a blessing. It's like you lose kind of like you don't lose hunger of the game, but anything that's getting stripped away from you, and now you have it. It's like, man, I'm gonna attack every single day like it's my last day, so I can give it all I got. You know, so you have that appreciation of the game. It's always good to have.
From afar, what was it like watching the team? Now it's clearly a competitive team.
Yeah.
It's a good football team. Just from a step back, what did you think about watching the Detroit Lions?
Man, this is a Super Bowl team. This team, I truly believe they're going to win a Super Bowl, and it's a competitive roster, you know. And man, it's just everybody want to give their best, and everybody want to come to work happy and positive, and want to get better and want to compete. So anytime you have that environment, man, I got fired up today when I heard Coach Campbell was like, man, we wanted Philly for so long, and I was like, yes. I was like, I wanted that feeling, you know. So it's a blessing, man, just to be able to sit in the team meeting again, and just to have that experience. It means everything to me, and I want to give it all I got, and I want to help this team do whatever it takes to win, even be on scout team, being whatever, like honestly, being whatever, just help my teammates and just be the best version of myself.
Yeah, man, where and how have you been watching games? At home, I assume? And are you like a stand up and yell at the TV guy? Or are you a watch hockey guy?
Man,
What's that experience like for you?
It was in the beginning. It was tough for me to watch because I was like, man, I wanted to be with them. I wanted to celebrate with them, and I wanted to feel the losses with them. I wanted to have that feeling, you know, just being back a part of the team. I couldn't go to any events. I couldn't be around the facility or anything just because the NFL rules. So when I got back, and like, man, I'm just excited. You know, the last couple weeks, I'm like, man, I can't wait to go back. You know, I want to experience these wins with that. I want to be in the locker room when coaches talk, and you know, like I just want that. You know, I'm grateful for the opportunity and to come back here and just to give it all I got again. You know.
After being in the facility, is there any way you could have, stayed like mentally prepared, like with the scheme and stuff? Did they give you any homework before they cut you or anything like that?
I mean, everything. I'm completely off, so I was completely like iPad was taken and everything, so I'm completely off the team, so they couldn't really contact me even. So that part was tough a little bit because I wanted to keep connection and just to feel like with the coaches again. But now that I have that connection again, I'm never gonna leave the opportunity to take it for granted, you know. So I just want to say what's up to the coach every time I see him, or like, hey coach, what's up? How's you doing today? Like, hey, let's give it all I got today. Like having that feeling and being coached again it means the world to me, and I will never take it for granted.
I know you said your age is schematically just with where the defense is.
It's been 2 months, and there's more stuff added, and you know, I just want to learn. Like it's the same stuff, but I just wanted like maybe different verbiage, and just to like, okay, do technique, different scheme, different stuff like that. So just it's not gonna take me long to get because I get it fast. And sit with my teammates and be like, okay, like, and stay in the same team room and have the same meeting and just listen and taking notes. This is what I'm good at, you know.
Did you actually have offers from other teams to go there? And did your agent talk to these other teams?
I mean, my agent was handling all that. He was like, I know, he was telling me like, 31 was wanting you on their practice squad. Because I don't count as a player. So, and I was like, man, I'm not going anywhere. I want to stay here because people believe in me, and I'm going to give it all I got because loyalty is a big thing for me. And man, I just want to give it the best I got, you know.
Still watching Hutch tape?
Absolutely. I have to. He's dominant, man. He's really good at what he does. So, man, I'm really impressed by him, and it was really good to see him, you know, and just learning from him and learning from everybody.
Did you find your shawarma spot?
I tried a couple spots for sure. I know I tried Amusami's. It's pretty good. It was really impressive shawarma. I tried Kitchen 75 in Detroit Kitchen 75. I tried that. Yeah. I also tried a spot on like Uber Eats. They have a really good like chicken. It's the Butcher. That's pretty good. I love that. It's a good spot. They have really good garlic sauce too, and it's just the meal just feels healthy, you know. Yeah. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll get that. But my wife loves it too. So I'm a big fan. I did. Yep, I did. I just stayed here. I drove every day. And I saw the facility, and I was like, man, I really want to go in there and say hi. But it was tough. But I'm just grateful to be here and finally to have a locker room. You know, I'm really grateful for that. To have a number, to go in treatment, to have tubs, to have meals ready, to have shakes, to have vitamins. All that I'm grateful for. And I just really want to be the best version of myself and just do everything that I can do to help this team win a Super Bowl.
With Dan, just ask him about your play this season. And one thing.
All right, before Jared Goff gets ripping and running,
yeah,
I wish that I had more time to record these because I can't figure out how to stop it in between without doing the recording. But anyway, here's what I gathered from this dude. I mean, the quotes that I read were identical to what you just heard, right? But here's what I gathered from him that I think it speaks volumes to the type of person he is. He loves just the most basic things in life. He's not all about the glitz and the glam. The dude genuinely just loves football and wants to be part of everything. But when your highlight of your day is just to say good morning and hi to somebody, that happy, that jovial, the go get it attitude, like it's like a switch for him, obviously, that turns on as soon as he enters the field. How could you not want that type of energy? How could you not want that type of connection with your teammates? And he's going to be one of those glue kind of guys, you know, that is going to be there for the support at all times. He's going to be someone to lean on. And hopefully as he gets more prepared and gets, you know, up to snuff with the playbook and that, he will be a threat on the field too. I have a couple of concerns. They're not really concerns. I think it's expected concern that not being able to have the playbook for 2 months and all he's able to do is watch, you know, film through his own methods, which whether it's all 22 or whatever, NFL Pro, being able to watch the games on TV, like that's not enough, right? You have to have the media cut-ups of what the NFL's putting out so that they can really dive into the playbook, not knowing the terminology's changed, not being in the defense through the season, which has changed from training camp. You know, a lot of things installed will stay, but what they're actually doing right now and how they're doing it is different than what it was 2 months ago. So concern number one is it's going to take him a minute. It's going to take him some time to learn the defense. As far as him being able to execute, that's probably going to take some time too. Simply, again, because he has to learn the playbook. Playing football is playing football, but he's also a rookie. This is also like his 6th year playing football ever. So it's going to take him a minute. I'm not expecting a ton out of him this year. Next year is going to be his year. It absolutely will. This year, if he is depth rotation, emergency depth rotation, that's all I'm expecting. And I'm setting the bar low because I don't want to set the bar too high because I can already see what's going to happen, Eric. You know who, what, and where are going to be calling him a bum. And Brad Holmes is a failure. And yada, yada, yada. He's a punk. Blah, 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 blah. That's what you're going to hear because he's not on the field. When we lose a game, oh my God, Brad Holmes, he took this guy in the 6th round, and this is why we're losing. It's the dumbest football takes I've ever heard in my life. But I don't want that narrative to be out there about this guy because, 1, he doesn't deserve it. And 2, he will be somebody in this league simply because of his attitude. To be able to carry that attitude after everything that he's gone through and have this type of loyalty is going to go well beyond what most players are able to give in their NFL career. Whether he becomes a star or a perennial backup, he's going to be somebody you want on your team. Just like Josh Paschal. Josh Paschal, every team wants a Josh Paschal. Matter of fact, every team probably wants 2 or 3 Josh Paschals. Because of the type of energy he carries, the type of player that he is, how he approaches his daily life, and that other internal fight that he has burning inside him because of the things that he's battling outside of football. Ahmed Hassanein has battled a ton outside of football. Coming to Michigan, and I'm not going to say too much here because I don't think it's my place, but there was, some religious type things that he had to battle off the field. Coming from Egypt, I don't need to explain it. You can research it on your own. And so he has these internal struggles and things that he has to deal with on a daily, and to stay centered and rooted in what matters most to him, which is his team, being a part of the team, having the basic fundamentals of a locker room and a fridge full of drinks and vitamins to take. Man, that's all I need to know about this guy. Eventually, it'll click. He'll be ready to go, and when his number's called, he's going to produce. It may not be this year. It may not be till week 16. May not be till week 18. It may be in the playoffs. Who knows? But at some point, Ahmed Hassanein is going to be a household name, if not just for your Detroit Lions fan base. I think it'll end up entering the national media next season. I think he's going to be someone that really helps his team out a lot, and he's going to have a bigger opportunity next season. So what is your thoughts here on Ahmed Hassanein? And man, I am so thankful to have a guy like this on our squad. So as much as he's thankful, we're thankful for him to be doing what he's doing right now.
Yeah, me as a Lions fan, I think I speak for all the Lions fans. We're excited to see what this guy can be, because everyone wants to see what it looks like with Hutch and someone else. I know a lot of people are they're not content with Hutchinson and Al-Qadim Muhammad. Why? I don't understand, but they want to see him with someone else. And I do want to see him with Hassanein. We've never seen it, so it would be fun to see. But I know it's probably not going to happen this year. He's probably going to be on the practice squad for all or most of the season. If he does get brought up, it's probably only going to be as an emergency backup. And even then, it's probably only in rotation. He might get out for a play or two. I'm sure.
So you kind of feel the exact same way that I do.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not going to be putting him out there with Hutch on a 3rd and 10 in a must-win situation. That
at least not yet.
For one, he's got to earn it. It's a playing time has to be earned with this team.
Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. 4 simple
Kellogg's
ingredients plus vitamin.
Sorry, there we go. I thought I had it muted.
But anyway, he's got to earn it, and it's going to take some time. I don't think it's going to be immediate. If I had to pick a game where they could possibly get him back out there for just a little bit of play, just to get his feet wet, get his first NFL snap in a regular season game, either the Giants or the Steelers. And it's going to be a home game, so I'd probably say the Steelers towards the middle of or the end of December there. So it might be a while, so everybody have some patience. And I kind of wish I would have had the ability to contact him while he wasn't allowed to go to the facility. Would have been neat to take him to a game, because I'm sure he's allowed to go to the game if he buys a ticket or someone gives him a ticket.
Never even thought about that. I will say this. Yeah, I will say this though. Having his wife, as soon as it's crazy, like he gets picked and the first thing he wants to do is celebrate, tell the coach he's never going to die for him, and then go get married. Gets engaged the same day. Like there's no lack of energy with this guy. But to be able to have his wife, I mean, we heard, Corey, I'm pretty sure said it during one of the morning shows, how important it was going to be for him to have somebody with him that was going to keep him grounded and rooted, to do the things that he knows that he needs to do, because him being alone in Detroit, bit of a culture shock, I'm sure, bit of a shock overall, being, by yourself. I'm sure his teammates would have been there for him. And I don't know if any of them, kept him in the loop, visited him, spent any time with, I hope they did. Nobody asked him that, but I hope they did. And I mean, technically he wasn't part of the team, so they didn't have to, but then again, their time is limited, but I don't know. The fact that he had his wife was huge. Huge. So
yeah, with the rules the way they are, I don't think he could have contact with anyone on the team.
I mean, you can have personal relationships. I mean, the NFL can't tell you can't have personal relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're a fan, right? I mean, you're just because you're not on a squad, I don't know why you still can't be a fan. He just can't be in the practice facility. I mean, that's just with anyone, that goes through that. If you're not on the team, you're not on the team. The difference is when you're on IR, you're on the squad. It's just you're in the non-practice squad part of the squad. You're on the IR squad. And so you can be in the facility. You can do everything but practice.
Yeah.
The difference with Ahmed, like he stated, the NFL rules do not allow you to be anywhere, in the facility. You can't do the training. So everything he had to do was on his own dollar, which obviously was probably carried through by the Lions in the settlement, right? The injury settlement, to make sure that he had money to pay for treatment facilities and rehab and hopefully top-notch doctors and rehab specialists to help him get through everything that he needed to get through. And I'm sure he had plenty of contacts to help him get through that and navigate those waters. But glad to see him back. I know someone in the chat said he looked a little bit skinny. I think he looks fit. And quite honestly, when he came into the league, he still had some of that baby fat going on in the face. If anything, he might be more cut up right now, could be a little bit light, which isn't a bad thing, especially if you're trying to utilize his speed, which he has great speed. So if you do try to utilize his speed as more of like an outside linebacker type speed, he's got it. And that may blend well with this Calvin Shepard defensive style now, which is utilizing our linebackers as the primary, get after your quarterback kind of a defense. The linebackers are the highlight. It's not the edge. And as much as people want to think it's the edge, it's not the edge. The edge are part of it. They're a big part of it. Dan Campbell, speaking of edge, said something yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, where they were talking about Aiden. They were talking about whatever. I can't remember the exact time of the press conference, but he said, Aiden's never going to get a one-on-one. And that's true. We know that. But he's not double-teamed the most on the team. He's the fourth most double-teamed. But he is the highest chipped. And when Dan said something yesterday, I get a lot of flack when I talk about Aiden because I said he's got to go win his one-on-ones, and he's been terrible winning his one-on-ones. And He's missing a lot of tackles, and he's terrible against, well, not terrible. He's just not as good against the run as he is against the pass. Everyone can always get better, but I catch a lot of flack for saying stuff like that when Dan Campbell said the same damn thing yesterday. He's got to win his one-on-ones, and he's not. He's not winning them enough, and I know that they want to keep the guy around, and I know that the sky is the limit for him still because of this injury. You know, maybe it settled him back a little bit. Aiden's going to be just fine. He really is. But he's got to figure out a way to beat these one-on-ones. The other side is not to blame here. It's just Aiden needs to find a way to win. And the chips should not slow him down. And I say that because when you pay a guy like Myles Garrett, nobody slows him down. Double teams, triple teams, chips do not slow him down. Never have, never will. Aiden is not to that level. Trey Hendrickson, double teams do not slow him down. When he's healthy. He's not healthy right now. So those, Max Crosby, double teams don't slow him down. Chips don't slow him down. So that's why I've never put Aiden into that category of edge just yet. Doesn't mean he won't get there. But Dan said it yesterday. He's got to find a way to win because he's never going to get singled up all the time. But he does have singles more than 50% of the time. And that means he has to win those reps. But I think when you look at the defense, again, that plays a big role into how Aiden is being used. He's a very expensive decoy at times, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think now bringing a little speed back here with Ahmed Hassan, at some point he'll have a breakthrough. And once he gets that first feeling, man, and he gets that first taste of getting after a quarterback, I think he's going to totally change as a player. I think what he does on and off the field gets exponentially bigger and better for him as an athlete when he gets a taste of a little bit of action. So hopefully he's getting some action now. He just needs to take care of his body and be smart. He doesn't need to overdo it. He just needs to blend. He needs to be a chameleon right now. And next guy up is Brian Brady. I don't know that for a fact. See, his question is, Will, how do you know Dan and Ben aren't friends anymore? I don't know that for a fact. I made the comment that I don't think that they are as close of friends because of what Dan said. And I did not do the video yet, so I will, and then you'll figure out why I feel that way. And it's based on what Dan said. And matter of fact, 2 or 3 press conferences. I have to go back and find the data now, but it's an interesting point. Just wait till I do the video. I don't want to give it all away. Wait, because I don't want someone else to steal it and do a video before me, because that's just what they do. It's an opinion. Next up, let's get into DJ Reed, because man, do we need this guy right now. Hey, no Kellogg's.
Nice.
What was it like being out there back, kind of doing the drills and being with the guys again?
Just gratitude. I just thank God when I was out there. And, man, you just can't take this game for granted. I'm just happy to be back with the guys. And, man, just happy and just a lot of gratitude.
What is it like for you to sit and watch the games? I mean, how do you've got the kids at home, but how do you get in the zone and prepare for coming back?
Yeah, me and my wife and the kids, we just been watching football like all day on Sundays, like everybody else. It was cool, but I was ready to get back in the field. But it definitely gave me a different perspective on football, and it just made me more grateful for it. And I also was happy to see guys, in the secondary get a chance to ball and do their thing. So it's been a different perspective, but I'm definitely happy to be back.
I think the one positive you can take from something like this, that guys got an opportunity to play, and DJ, that only builds your depth down the stretch, right?
No, absolutely. I feel like it overall makes our team better. Football guys are going to get hurt. Just look at this year in our secondary, guys have been pretty banged up. So I definitely feel like overall it makes the secondary and the team stronger.
Hey, do your kids have new favorite players when Dad's not out there? Who's their Lions now?
Yeah, they're 3 under 3, so they all they know is number 4. That's all Kinsley say is number 4. When she playing at the screen, she thinks I'm playing even though I'm right there. So
you're a veteran guy who's been around, but how long do you think you need to kind of be back, get your legs under you before you kind of start thinking about getting back out there on Sundays?
mean, I'm a gamer, so I'm ready, but that's not my call. Obviously, they're going to be smart about it, but if you ask me, I'm ready to play. So that's just my mindset.
Can you compare the feeling today, or when they told you were coming back to practice, versus that moment the injury happened? Because I know you thought you might be done for it when that injury happened. So just compare those two feelings.
Yeah, I went from thinking dang, my season's over with, very unfortunate, especially because I felt like I was getting into the groove of things here. And now, I'm going to be back. So, my mindset is just, I'm really hungry. I'm ready to help this team make that push.
Almost did it. Almost had it. Almost had it. All right. So, DJ Reed says he's a gamer, man. He's ready to go. He's ready to play. He's ready today. But this is a Dan Campbell call. And when he gets back was going to be up to them. So doubtful he's playing this week. I would be surprised if he does. I would be super ecstatic if he does play, though.
I don't know if he needs a 3-week ramp up.
Nah.
He's been gone for 2 months, but this dude's been working with trainers on the side. They've seen him full sprint running. And listen, I think he's ready. I think he's ready to go this week. And we may need him this week if Terrion Arnold can't go, because Terrion Arnold's in the concussion protocol.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anything just yet on where he's developed in that space. But as far as Reed goes, I haven't seen anything yet either on whether there's even a 50-50 chance. I didn't hear Dan Campbell talk about it yet. I don't know if he's really been asked about it yet, but he did talk about the depth, right? And how, Reed's not going to mince words. What did he say? He was asked about, some guys stepping up and being able to play. And his response is, yeah, that's going to be great for our depth. He has no concern about stepping back onto the field, even though Calvin Shepard made it very clear that these guys are all fighting for starting spots now because of the way that the Legion of Whom really stepped up and played some good football. And they did against the Commanders too. I forgot that Avonte Maddox got in, during the Commanders game as well. He was playing some pretty good football. So it was good to see him back on the field. As soon as we get Reed back on, I think that this fan base is going to be taken by surprise quite a bit, that our front seven is going to be even that more impactful. And I think that we're going to see a ramp up in more of the blitz packages. Art Vandelay I think it was Art Vandelay in the chat just mentioned, or maybe, yeah, I think it was him, about seeing Shep mixing in zone with man a little bit more this year. Yeah, it's exactly what we've all noticed, is that he's not stubborn. He's not sticking with man, 58% of the time, or blitzing 55% of the time. We do blitz enough. But I think that the blitz packages are primarily coming from the linebackers, and we're not using as much of the safeties and DBs at a time. But what did Brian Branch pull down last week? Two sacks, or a sack and a half. And that's, again, it goes back to what I saw in training camp, that, reporting on the fact that I felt that it was going to be linebackers and DBs getting more action. Shep's doing that because he's not going to stay one-dimensional. Just like you can be one-dimensional on an offense. If you're not able to run the ball, it's hard to pass the ball, right? Same thing on a defense. If you're constantly showing the same front, even if you're disguising it and you're blitzing the same guys, that gets repetitive and offenses will figure you out. So it didn't happen in the last couple of games, when I think, or what I think is Shepard is digging more into his bag, and his bag is evolving. I know we're up against 10 o'clock for you. Are you off early today?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got to be going here shortly.
So give me, go ahead and give us your final take of the day.
So my final 30 is this. Nothing but good news, pretty much, except for the Terrion Arnold being in concussion protocol. There was a few guys that had some days off, and I think most of them are all just rest. But when are we going to get Kirby Joseph back? When are we going to get Terrion Arnold back? When are we going to get DJ Reed back? If we can get those three guys back, I think our secondary really, really gets back to playing the way that we were there for a short period of time when we had all the guys healthy. this secondary could be very, very good, and that's only going to help everybody up front. I'm ready to see them all healthy, especially against the Eagles. If we get DJ Reed back this week, I think it's huge. And that's what I'm hoping for, but it just might be the Legion of Whom once again this week. So I will see you guys tomorrow.
So I got one big announcement to make before you jump off.
All right.
I just got a message from Substack, and I had no idea that this was happening. I know I need a lot more subscribers. You guys won't believe this. I just cracked the top 100 on Substack.
Oh wow.
I'm ranked number 98 right now.
Right on.
And I've now entered the Rising in Sports category for Substack. Maybe someday we'll get to the best sellers in about 5 years, but I love it, man. The work is tough because I'm spread so thin. So I wish I could fully dedicate myself to just one niche, but it's really hard with everything I have going on, and I need more people, right? I mean, the 12 AI employees only do so much for me, like try to read emails and stuff, and it's not enough. So thank you to all of you. And if you have not subscribed, it's free. DetroitFootballJournal.com, and then share it, man. Please share it. Send it to all your Lions fans and say, look, if anything, if you don't have time to read it all the time, just subscribe. And that way, when you do get it sent to your inbox and you do have a moment to read it, you don't get a bunch of spam. The only thing you're going to get from me is when I write an article. That's it. And that could be once a day. It could be 3 times a day. It could be 4 times a week. And lately, it's only been about 4 or 5 times a week because I do bigger, longer pieces. So anyway, thank you to all of you, and thank you to Substack, man.
Yeah.
Top 100. I just need to stay relevant. All right, Eric, have a good day.
All right, see you guys.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, since we're late today, I'm going to go till 10:30 at least. Kurt, I don't know if you're still with us, but you wanted to call in earlier. So I'm going to put the call sign on for the last moments while I'm doing this today. Let me make sure that it's even activated in this scene. But if anybody wants to call in, feel free. 313-podcast, otherwise known as 313-763-2278. While I have a video playing, obviously I will not answer the phone. And I am going to get into Jared Goff right now. Thank you for all of the congratulations. Appreciate you guys. Look, this is hard work. You know, this is not for everybody. And, you know, I hate to dip into the negative energy. I really try to run away from that as much as possible because it's just noise to me. It really is. It's just noise. And people wonder why I don't go and defend myself. And I'll tell you the number one reason why. If I go do what the other idiots are doing, that could get your channel taken down. Okay? There is some very strict guidelines on YouTube, and about 7 of them have been broken. So if I want to take someone's YouTube channel down right now, I could. And I could have a year ago, but I didn't. And so that punk should be thanking me for allowing him to stay. Because if I want to take it down, I can. I have a bigger heart and think that maybe at some point someone will grow up. Look, talk about competition. I'm not here to compete. But I heard the thing where someone said something like, I've got, X amount of subscribers. That channel is over 4 years old. And if you look at the numbers here are better at the 2-year mark than where that channel was at the 2-year mark. So I know what we're doing here, and I know how well it's working, and it's all organic, but I'm not going to sit here and belittle other people or, have narcissistic takes or whatever. The only thing that I do on this channel that points a finger at me is when I'm right about something, or we do our predictions or our picks, or just like every other channel does, just like all of the other writers do, we remind you that we got a few things right. Why do we do that? Because if you didn't have the opportunity to watch the video, if you didn't have the opportunity to read the article, how would you know? You wouldn't know, right? But if I tell you, hey, we got some things right in our keys to the game. Hey, This is our weekly locks and rocks, or my weekly rocks and like. Eric doesn't write or do anything. So, I got some things right. And I share that because it helps to validate the work. Why do I spend all of this time researching and reading and studying? And I'm still in scout school every single week. I spend 2 hours in scout school every single week. At some point, I will be certified. It's going to take time. I still have a lot to learn. I didn't pick this up until I was 43 years old, right? And trying to blend fan knowledge with actual football knowledge is hard because I have to drop my bad habits and try to retrain all of my lingo. And that is probably the hardest thing about it, is trying to stay relevant, confident, and deliver the right information. And that's what I'm all about. So I'm not going to let people try to tear me down. And that's what they try to do, because I just think people are jealous. And if you notice, when do I live in people's heads? It's after free agency. It's after the draft. It's after the trade deadline. And that's when you hear my name, because people don't like me in this space now because they've all been wrong. And it's not about me versus them. You got your takes. You got your ideas. That's great. I have a different set of takes and ideas based on research, analysis, education, right? I'm not sitting here pumping BS. I try to give you guys great information that is solid and rooted in fact and research. That's the difference. And so when I get things right, it pisses people off because they take it to heart. Look, if you get something wrong, nobody's going to hate you. You know why? Because everybody in this space gets stuff wrong. Go look at every mock draft from, I don't care who, Jeremiah or anybody. Go look at anybody's mock draft. Hardly any of them are accurate. The top mock drafts in the NFL would be who? I mean, who does? You got Mike Renner, you got Ryan Wilson, Blake Brockermeyer, Josh Edwards, Daniel Jeremiah. What's the other guy's name? Is it Mel Kiper? Who else? There's so many names out there. So many names. So many different writers. So many different channels. TWSN, Josh Edwards at CBS, Luke Hubbard, Corey Kinnan, Nicholas Rome, Zachary Rotman, James Eisner. I mean, the Tankathon staff. I mean, 33rd team. There's just so many. And if you look at every single one of them, Lou Scataglia, if you look at all of these guys, they're all wrong, right? A lot of people get like the top 10. You might get a lot of the players right. They go in the top 10, but a lot of the teams are wrong after that. And a lot of the players are wrong after that. I hit on 26 out of 32 again this year. Last year, I think I hit on 28 out of 32. That doesn't come by guessing. I'm not throwing darts at a dartboard. It comes through research. And I hate even talking about this because it looks like this right now. It looks like I'm trying to point at me, and that's not what I want to do. But you're damn right. I am going to validate the work that I do. And I think right now what's going on is people are just, they're in their feelings because they're hurt that they're getting shit wrong. They want an edge. They don't get it. So what's the first thing they do? They go trash the person that's getting it right. Why? You talk about wanting to pick up and work with other people. Well, maybe what you should have done is say, damn, Rocked On got all this shit right again. Hats off to that dude. But instead you trash me. And the more you trash me, the more fuel you give me to point out that you're wrong all the time. So, and that's not what it's supposed to be about, man. I'm probably one of the only ones that loves to pick up the phone or send an email and try to collaborate. And if you look, I've tried to do that with everybody, but they never reciprocate. And I think it's because they get their takes wrong. And I don't know if they're embarrassed by it or whatever, but guess what? We're all human. We're not going to get shit right. You know how hard it is to get things right? A lot of it is by luck, because at the drop of a dime, a team can change their mind. And as much as the other writers and all of the other tacticians in this space have connections and deep connections with GMs, they get stuff wrong. So maybe they're getting fed a bunch of BS to throw everybody else off the trail, or maybe that's done intentionally. I don't know. I tend to get things right based on research. And imagine, like I've said this to everybody, just imagine if I had a desk where these guys do, and I had their team of researchers, their team of writers, and how much more I think I could probably get right. Honestly, I'd probably get more wrong because you're listening to what everybody else is saying instead of doing your own work. I just wish I had 6 more of me to be able to do research. I've always been a researcher. It's part of what I've always done. But anyway, enough about that. I don't even know why I started saying it, but I guess it just gets old, man. People just need to learn to grow up. But who has grown up? Jared Goff. Jared Goff has grown up. And we're going to listen to Jared Goff right now. He's been prepping for the Eagles. Let's hear what he has to say.
Ask him about your play this season, and one thing he brought up was today going out to
what the hell, man? It just disappeared again. All right, come on now.
With Dan, just ask him about your play this season, and one thing he brought up was today going out to the
tip 20 minutes is really soft.
The level of information you're able to retain and quickly turn around, and just how much of an advantage that is for them early in a week, setting up the week. Has that always been kind of a superpower of yours when it comes to football, just retaining information and game planning, that aspect of the game?
I try to. I mean, that's a great compliment, but I think it's part of my job, really. I think it's kind of like the baseline of what I'm supposed to do is, retain it and be able to spit it out, and then be able to kind of do my best to coach it on the field and help these guys where I can. And I think walkthrough is extremely important. I try to take it pretty serious and make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do.
Dan said you're playing your best ball of your career. I feel like he said that, honestly, each of the last 3-4 seasons here.
Yeah.
Amon Ra was saying on his podcast that everything's up here for you. You don't wear it on the wristband. And all these compliments from your teammates and coaches. We've all had bad coworkers and teammates, but for your guys, your people to speak so highly of you, how does that hit you?
Yeah, it's awesome. That means a ton coming from those guys, and I feel good. I am definitely helped out by a lot of great players around me, great coaches around me, and doing my best to do my job.
The league is so volatile at quarterback play, with people excited by the pizzazz, the big plays, the risk reward. You've made a career for yourself, and a really good one, of being consistent. When you look across the league and you see guys getting successful big plays like that, but then also failing out, is that a reminder to you to stay the course of the career you've built?
Yeah, I just try to stay in my lane and do what I'm supposed to do each play, and play each play in a vacuum, to some extent. Obviously, the situation of the game is going to change some things, but go through my reads, see what the defense is presenting, and try to attack them where I see fit. And I just try to get better every week.
Hey, Jared, Dan's reading glasses made headlines last week. Any thoughts on his fashion statement on the sidelines?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him wear them before, so I don't think we were shocked. But either make the font maybe a little bit bigger, or he's going to keep wearing those glasses.
What's it like to have Dan in your helmet?
I'm pausing it right there, okay? Because I don't know why my video didn't take off. Maybe I just did a really poor job at my thumbnail or my title. What I wasn't trying to promote was that Dan was going to stay in the offensive coordinator position for the entire season, like as reported, or by him saying that he was going to do that, because it's not the exact words that came out. Like what you just heard from Jared Goff. Here, let me rewind it. It's very similar to like what Dan said, but if you go back and listen to the interview on Costa Jansen, he was asked the question if he was going to stay calling plays, and he did not answer the question until the very end, when he said, I am going to, pretty much he's saying that he's going to continue to call plays. But Jared Goff just said it again. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him wear them before, so I don't think we were shocked. But either make the font maybe a little bit bigger, or he's going to keep wearing those glasses.
What's it like to have Dan in your?
Okay, so there's two things to take there. He's either saying that he's going to continue to wear the glasses, because he can't see and they need to make the font bigger. Or the other way to look at that is, well, they need to make the font bigger because Dan Campbell is going to continue wearing those glasses because he's going to continue calling plays. It's the nuance of what they're saying. Psychology is a big thing when you listen to people, talk to people, training people in sales, whatever. It's part of what I've trained myself in. No, I'm not a doctor. I've never gone and done any classical training in college, or, I never spent any time in the medical field. What I am saying is I studied psychology as part of, being a CEO. I had to learn a lot of different things. And psychology is one of them. You have to know people, right? You have to know how to understand people and what drives people. And that's what psychology teaches you. So I use it in my everyday when I'm listening to things. And when Dan first started talking, man, he gave everything away. Now you really have to dig. All of these players and coaches have gotten really smart about how they're saying things and how they're projecting things. So you kind of have to read between the tea leaves a little bit. And that's why I can't just come out and say, well, they said this. It's more so we're expecting it based on how they said what they said. So he kind of said it, Jared Goff. Dan Campbell said it the other day. For whatever reason, I don't think people took my video that way. I think they took it as, oh, yeah, we knew he was calling plays against the Commanders. Oh, yeah, we know he's calling, plays this week. No, Dan is staying in that position for the rest of the season. And that's big, right? They're going to continue to use this as a OC by committee is what it is. That's going to be a video today. We'll do that. OC by committee today.
Helmet calling plays.
It's great. He did a good job. Yeah, he's a steady Eddie, and I thought he was great.
So you told us about the right before the JMO play that you could see Dan being a little frustrated on the sidelines because he didn't think he got all the call in. Can you kind of tell us your perspective of how that play went down? Did you get the full play call?
Yes, I believe so. I think there was a couple of shifts in motions on that play, and I kind of was just like, hey, just line up, because I knew we were late in the huddle. I can't remember if the whole thing came in or not, but I heard most of it and was able to get us out of the huddle and then lined up correctly. And sometimes, if I love the play so much, I'm like, guys, line up. Like, I don't want them to call timeout. Like, let's get this thing snapped. And I had a pretty good feeling about that one. So I was like, screw the motions and the shifts. Like, let's just get lined up and snap it. And sure enough, JMO ran a great route and scored.
Is it common for like half of a play call to come in before that 15-second thing comes off?
Yeah, it happens, man. It does. And certainly when you're on the road and it's loud, and that could be a challenge. And that'll certainly be a challenge this week, too, with their crowd noise. And, I try to do my best to study and know if I hear one word, I can kind of get the rest of it, and because that's how it is sometimes.
Jared, it did seem like you were maybe getting to the line a little bit earlier last week compared to the first 8 games. I don't know if that's just like anecdotal, but could you feel the calls coming in a little bit more quickly from Dan?
I don't know if I'm going to compare that or contrast that. I thought it was pretty similar.
Campbell said he loves the atmosphere in a place like Philly. Are you looking forward to?
Yeah, it'll be great.
All right, timeout here. Asking the question on whether the plays were coming in faster, like that is a big key to kind of take note of. I expected tempo in the game against Washington, and I felt more tempo. And just being a little bit more of an up-tempo offense, whether it is a non-huddle, quick huddle, or you can have an elongated huddle. There's kind of the 3 elements to between the plays. You're either running a set of plays and you're just no huddle, you're going after it, or the calls are coming in quick, which means you're scripted and you're just going to the next play. It's a very quick huddle. You get the play called, you get lined up, or you have the elongated huddle where if you're especially on away team, like we're going to be in Philly, I'm expecting 2 things. I'm expecting more huddle time because it's going to be difficult to hear, but I'm also expecting Dan to have a bunch of calls in, and we might even see Jared Goff with a wristband this weekend. I don't know if he wears one every day. I haven't seen him wear one, but he might have a wristband on this weekend so that they can have their calls already ready, because it's going to be loud and it's going to be a raucous crowd and it's going to be very difficult to hear. And Dan's got to be quick as a whippersnapper, right? He's got to be on it. And I could feel the tempo change against Washington, and that is the tempo that this offense plays with, and that's how they get into a rhythm. So pay attention to those 2 things. It'll be in the keys to the game this week. Rhythm, timing, tempo is keys to the game this week. Rhythm, timing, and tempo.
Beer and batteries being thrown at you.
I don't think they'll do any of that. I know that may have happened in the past, but yeah, it'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be ruckus. We've played in those environments. This will be another one of those. Sunday Night Football, previous champ, like everything you want. And, they'll bring it. We'll bring it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I got over here a little late, but obviously your teammate Jameer Gibbs, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Just when you're around a young player like him, what's making him so unique? And a lot of these awards, a lot of things he's doing. What's making him, really break out this year?
Yeah, he's good at kind of everything. Obviously, his speed jumps out right away, and we can get him, on the perimeter on some things. It's pretty impressive what he can do. And but then out of the backfield with his hands and his route running ability is getting so much better. It's hard to imagine, where the ceiling is for this guy. So he just keeps getting better, and it's fun to work with him.
Jared, how you had offensive flow last week and kind of getting back to the flow. How much was the ability to access the play action game early and often based off of the running game and everything kind of working in sync?
That's always something that we're trying to get to, and has been a hallmark of us when we've been good on offense is typically the play actions working. So yeah, anytime we can get to those plays and get them into the right coverages and get our guys, doing what they're supposed to do, and then ultimately the protection up front is the most important and leads to some pretty good plays for us.
Jared, how do you keep that defense honest this week?
Yeah, you just got to play hard and do our thing. They're a good defense. They're well coached. They're very sound. They do a lot of things right. They got really good players. They're the Super Bowl champs last year for a reason, and we'll have our hands full, but we're ready.
You talk about J-Mo being so dangerous down the field, right? How you got to play safety over the top, that speed. We saw last week how those crossers can be just as dangerous in those. And some of the coverage they were doing with Saint kind of opened up some of those opportunities. When you see that, just how dangerous is he in those crossers and stuff? Could you utilize that?
Sure. I mean, anytime we get him the ball on the move, gosh, it's hard to stop. And no matter what coverage it is, obviously we'd love to hit him over the top as much as possible, but those crossing routes are just as good for him, and he gets out there on the edge, man coverage, zone coverage, whatever it is. He does a good job with it.
With Litter Robot, I never have to...
Zip it, Litter Robot. I get sick of this ad. Okay, so what did we learn about Jared Goff? Come on, switch. There you go. What did we learn about Jared Goff this week? I don't know that we learned a ton outside of the fact that, look, he's expecting things to run as they're supposed to. And whether it's Jameson Williams or Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, he has plenty of options to get to on any given play. Isaac Tesla will eventually get integrated into this offense a little bit more. But there again is something that I think is more of a fan wish than reality. Okay? There's a big misconception that a third-round pick is supposed to start. It's a giant misconception. You guys know I've said this many times already this year. Broderick Martin, being a third-round pick, was never supposed to start. He was a depth guy that was supposed to be a developmental piece. We just took him very late in the third round. Really was a fourth-round pick if you look at it. The Lions didn't give up a ton to get him, but less than 15% of all third-round draft picks have ever started a game, and less than 3% of those 15% have ever really become elite football players in the league. I think the number was like 60 third-round picks have ever made elite status in the history of the NFL over the last 25 years, I think was the numbers that I pulled down. It was either 25 or 15 years, one of the two. But either way, 60 and 15, what is that? 4 players a year? That's not a lot, right? And so that's why I think it was over 25. I don't even think it's that much. I think it's like 1 player a year. So Isaac Tesla, yeah, you're expecting, okay, we moved on from Tim Patrick. Like, that was a smart move. Of course, I wanted to see Tim Patrick fully healthy into this offense and having an opportunity to be fully healthy entering the season in what he could have added to this team. Brad made a smart move. He traded the player away to gain a draft pick because they were giving up some draft picks to move around, and his ether was high because Tim Patrick came in last year, didn't really start to get moving until about halfway through the season, and then he really started to kind of catch a little bit of fire. I think he finally had a touchdown game, which was called on Rocks Locks, right? And I don't know, finished with like 400 or 500 yards or whatever it was on the season. So it wasn't, some amazing season, but it was amazing by the standards of what he battled through and what it took for him to get to the place where he was at playing at a higher level. But you essentially moved off of an older player to bring in the youth, the future of that position. We needed a big body that ran, fairly well, right? Isaac TeSlaa runs sub 4.4. Eventually, he will be the future at that outside position with Jameson Williams. We need a guy like that. And a lot of people expected for him to get a ton of action. If you go to the Rocks Locks, I don't know if you guys have noticed this or have followed it. I finally started to break things down a little bit. I noticed I had a major failure. I'm still learning how to write, and categorize things and work Substack. The first year is a total failure. Well, maybe not, because I've cracked the top 100. But there's two different things going on here. This shouldn't be posted. What's going on here? What is this all about? Why is this? What? Hold on a second here. I hope this isn't posted. Oh, that's a draft. My bad. I was about to freak out for a minute. Like, that looks terrible. Okay. So, season-long predictions, you have that. You have the season-long predictions, and then you have the weekly keys to the game. And then you also have my DraftKings, the parlay, making the weekly calls. So there's Rocks Locks, and then you have the season predictions. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let me see if I can get this brought in here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is the season-long predictions. And if you notice what I changed, it now says weeks 10 through 13. So this is my season-long predictions for each quarter. We're in quarter 3, so week 10 through 13. And so when you go through this article, it still breaks down every quarter. Like you got the first quarter call, then you have the second quarter call, and now we're into the third quarter call. But I broke it down this way so that it could actually appear back in my own algorithm. And the third quarter call, I had us losing against the Eagles, right? But if you scroll to the bottom, this is in every one of them. This was my 2025 stats predictions. I don't know why that has a bar right there. It shouldn't. But I expected Isaac TeSlaa to have 400 passing yards and 5 TDs. That's all I expected for this guy. This was written at the very beginning of the season. I want to say September 7th. That's the one thing I don't like about this, because I updated it on November 11. So that's what it makes it appear that it was written on November 11. But it was written way back before the season. And you'll see that in some of the previous versions. But where is he at right now? Isaac TeSlaa has 65 yards on the season, 2 TDs. There's no reason why he can't get another 280 yards and 3 TDs this season. There's no reason why he can't, and he probably will. But for people thinking that he should have been a starter this year and not understanding how the NFL actually works, yeah, if you needed a third wide receiver, he probably would have been starting. Did we need a third receiver? No. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Jameson Williams. Sam Laporta is your third receiver. And then beyond that, you have Khalif Raymond. And then there's Isaac TeSlaa. And then you brought in a new rookie. You've got Dominic Lovett. You still have Jackson Meeks. That those two should be perennial guys on this roster for the next several seasons. 3 seasons or more, I would expect. But Isaac TeSlaa, I never expected him to have some crazy year. Doesn't mean that he can't turn it on. God forbid we suffer some sort of an injury. But my total season predictions, like Jared Goff, 4,800 yards, 40 TDs, 11 interceptions. Where's he at right now? 22-35. He's got 25-65 to go. He already has 20 TDs on the season at the halfway point. So I'm right on schedule. 3 interceptions on the season. He has 8 left out of my predictions. Jahmyr Gibbs. I had him going for 1,300 yards, 600 receiving, 19 TDs. Well, right now he's got 693 on the ground. He's got 607 to go, so he's ahead of the curve. He has 227 in receptions. He's a little bit behind the curve, 373 to go, and he has 10 TDs. Right on pace. Montgomery, 1,000 yards. I really wanted to go like 999, but I expected him to get $1,000 this year. Only 350 in receiving, which honestly, that should have been more, but the Lions haven't been using him enough because of Johnny Moe. 12 TDs on the year. Where's he at? He's got 466. He's pretty close to the halfway point. 106 yards receptions. He's about a third behind, or half of a third behind, and 5 TDs. So he's a little bit behind the curve there as well. But those numbers can change in a hurry. St. Brown, I only had him having 1,300 yards and 12 TDs this year. He's right on pace. 607 to go. He's got 4 to go in TDs. Jamison Williams, 1,200 yards, 10 TDs. I only had him going 200 yards more, and you know what? He would be in a much better position right now had Johnny Moe been using him correctly. But only 474 on the season, 726 to go, 4 TDs. He has 6 to go. I think I updated this after Washington. I'll have to go back and look, but if I didn't, then these numbers could be a little bit different. But I think we're pretty close. Like Aiden, 12 sacks. I did not expect him to have a bunch of sacks. You know why? Because of the linebackers. I expected us to have more linebackers and more DBs involved in the game. And that has been the case. I know a lot of people think he was going to have 20 sacks, 15 plus sacks. 12. That's where I had him, 12 plus. If he has anything more than 12, that's a great season for an edge defender. Lions defense. I had us being a top defense in the league, and right now we are at 7th. We moved up 1 spot from week 10. Well, where did I have us? I had our defense being a top 5 overall. And right now we are 7th. So pretty close. So again, this is kind of going back to what I said earlier. I get a lot of things right because I put the work in. And I think people just get mad at it. Rocks Locks. This is the other one. This is the weekly. So this one will come out. Today's Thursday, so this will come out before tonight's game. I'm 87-48 on the season. Here's what's crazy. If you have not taken a look at this, here's the expert picks that I go up against every week. This is who I compete with. Do you see any other Lions creators in here? You don't. But this is who I put myself up against every week. I don't look at this. This is the first time I've looked at this on a Thursday, so I really can't look at this because I don't look at their picks before I make mine. Again, I got to make sure that I'm fully updated because there is no way that they're 95-53. I must not have updated. I'm at 87-48, so I need to make sure that I'm fully updated here. There's no way they're that far ahead of me. Nope, I'm not updated. I stopped at 1-0. So I've got to get updated. I was tied before week 11 or before week 10. I was tied for, I think, 2nd place. Let me see. I was tied for 3rd place. I was in 1st place for a long time in the middle between 1st and 2nd quarter. I was in dead last place in week 3 because I went out on a crazy limb. And I've climbed all the way back to be in 2nd place. And right now I was tied for 3rd place before this week. And a lot of us finished, like I think I was 7-7. A lot of people finished like 9-8 or 8-9 or whatever it was. Or I'm sorry. They finished 8-6 or 6-8. It was a rough week. A lot of games flipped. But I was 7-7. So I mean, that's not where I want to be. I don't like to lose more than 30% of the games any given week. But that's who I compare myself against. And I do this. It's a good exercise to do. And 2, I put it all in writing, right? I put it all out there. And I make sure I use DraftKings. The only reason why I use DraftKings is not for the bet. Look, I bet 50 cents. It's because this way it's on paper, right? And it's done. It's date stamped of when I made the picks. That's why I do that. So anyway, if you haven't taken a look at DetroitFootballJournal.com, these are the things that you're going to see on there. Let me just kind of go through the website real quick. 2 more seconds. I'll get out of this. At the top, everything is kind of organized. The middle is usually the most recent thing that I've written. You have the Rise and Grind Morning Show. This will take you right to the playlist. Okay. And if you go to the Rockdown Lions pod, this will just bring you to the channel. If you go to video content, this is new. This is something that I'm working on. I haven't finished it, but I'm just going to have some of the latest videos popping up in there. Support Cancer Warriors. This brings you right to the Rockdown Cancer Foundation. But you can also navigate to other places here by clicking the avatar up in the top left. This will bring you to the main page. You can see that we've raised $6,538 this year. Our goal is $50,000 every year, so we are quite a bit of ways away. So everything is transparent, right? There's no hiding. This is all, it's for everybody to see. This is automatically tracked. Every dollar that is donated, the Buy Me a Coffee Foundation or the Buy Me a Coffee website tracks everything that comes in. Now, if I were to tell you how much it costs me to earn that money, I'm really not making squat, because everything that I'm giving back through raffles, I mean, you can do the math. A mini helmet costs no less than $50. A lot of them cost more. A jersey costs $130, $160. Tickets cost $1,000 or $800, depending on which game you're going to, unless I'm giving away season tickets. So you do the math. I'm not making anything. These coffee clubs need to go away. I don't even know why they're up there. I don't know why they're still there. I've taken them down twice. But if you go to the shop, right? You go to the shop. We still have some raffles up, at Terry and Arnold and Tesla. I will double check these today. We've got to be getting somewhat close. I know that we had to sell about 100 tickets for some of them, or 50 tickets for the larger one. That's our goal. But those are the things that you can buy coffee on here. Looks like we got 5-star ratings on everything. Appreciate that. Don't be afraid to leave a comment or rate. Really helps us out. So lastly on here, you have Rocks Locks. This brings you right into the weekly Rocks Locks and everything. This is why I started separating it. So you had, independent weeks as well as quarters and things tracked. Please leave us, again, ratings, comments. It really helps. The About section, it's about me, what I'm trying to do, why I'm trying to do it. Homepage obviously brings you everywhere, but it breaks down just about everything for you, and the page will evolve. If I had more time, I would spend more time doing it. I love to write. You guys know I have a lot to say. So we had some winners in the last last month or so. Like when you receive something as a prize, when you win something, the way that you can help us validate these things to show people that, yeah, we actually do receive shit from this channel. Like, tell people, put it on your socials, shout us out, hold up the jersey, take a picture of it, the helmet, take a picture of it, put it up on your socials, shout us out. Hey, I won this as part of the Rockdown Cancer Foundation giveaways and raffles. You can visit them here. And I'm going to be giving away a full-size mini helmet in December. And it is for that exact reason. I'm trying to get more people to promote organically, right? I'm asking you to do it. I'm willing to give away a $400 full-size helmet, and it might even be one that's signed, which would make it that much more valuable. But I'm not asking for your money in return. No, I'm asking just to help promote. And it's just all the things that we're doing already, just to let people know, because that's the quickest way to dispel all of the hate and all of the fake rumors and all of the fake noise, or all the noise that are coming from those other idiots that just like to talk trash because they're jealous. So I'm not going to go down that road again. I'm just not. Let's get into Aiden. Let's see what Aiden had to say this week.
The names could go on. How do you look at this team? When you look at this team,
Aiden looks better with the hair a little bit longer.
Jalen Hurts, it's Saquon Barkley. I mean, the names could go on. How do you look at this team going into this week?
A lot of talent. A really good football team. This is going to be. We've had this one on our calendar. We've been looking at this one on our calendar for a long time. So, coaches are going to have us ready. We're going to be ready for this game, and
really see this as a must-win.
Question you see about to practice today. Are you dealing with anything? Did you join practice later? Or we just miss you?
I think the injury report comes out in a little bit. We'll be good though. Nothing to worry about. Just a little bump in the road, but we're good.
What was the injury?
It's like an upper body. I don't even know. I think it should come out on the injury report.
Were you not concerned about your availability this week?
Not at all.
Aiden, you said must win, which is kind of odd. They're not a division team. They're not. Is it because they are such a powerhouse and that's how you guys measure yourselves?
I mean, ultimately, where we see ourselves as a team, we every year the standard is to battle for that number 1 seed, and they're one of those teams that we're going to battle with. So that's why it's a must-win in my eyes, and it's going to set us up really good for the last stretch of this season.
Over the last few years, you guys have been a contender in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. You guys always play other teams who seem to be in that conversation, but Philly has not been one of the teams on the schedule. Is that why you're looking forward to it in a way? Because it's kind of like the last one to check off of the list, kind of?
No, I think again it's just they're a really good team in the NFC, and again when you look at the end of the year, we want to be able to look back on this game and know that we gave it all we had, and we prepared the most, and we executed at the highest level to get the win.
What do you make of Hurts as a quarterback?
Super talented, man. Super mobile. There's so many good players around him too. Really, that whole offense is a lot of talent. And Jalen, when we played him in 22, really tough. Keep him in the pocket. Really good at scrambling, great mobility. Can make all the throws, So we're gonna have our hands full, but I think we got a good game plan in place.
Much we talk about Panay being one of the best right tackles in the NFL. Quite often, they've got two pretty good ones themselves at tackle, and Mailata and Lane. Just how much do you relish one-on-one matchups against elite tackles like that?
That's great. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be a great test. And I'm gonna go out there and compete my ass off. And that's what really we got to do as a D-line. If we're gonna win this game, it starts up front, and we understand that the talent of their O-line, but that doesn't change our standard.
Any recollections of playing against Lane in 2022? Did you see him that day?
I did. It was game 1 of the rookie years, a long time ago. I played those two, and I was like, if every tackle's like this, I was like, whew. But no, it's good. It's good. We get to see him 3 years later now, so it'll be good. I'd like to say I think I've grown quite a lot since then.
Mid-season awards, I know they don't exactly get printed out and turned into actually something you put on your mantle, but to see the notoriety that people are giving you, I think it was Fox Sports made you Defensive Player of the Year through 9 games, halfway point. What does that do for you in just coming back to the season, knowing that the production is there and the belief has always been there, but the production's there too?
I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Really cool, but really my focus is on this first 17 games. And again, like I've said, the NFL is a marathon, and you could play well in the first 9 games, but you got to keep it up and treat every week and prepare every week like it's a Super Bowl, really. And I'm going to continue to do that and just keep pulling the trigger out there.
Hey, what have you heard about playing in Philly, and what kind of atmosphere do you expect to encounter on Sunday night?
I never played there. I know it's hostile to say the least, but I think those are fun environments to play in, man. It's you get in those college football-esque games that really bring the love of the game back, I guess. Not like it's ever gone, but you get that I don't know, you're out there, you're 18 years old, you're in college, fans are screaming, people care about its tradition, that to me, it really invigorates my soul. And you go out there and Sunday Night Football too. So really, it's I can't wait. It's gonna be a blast.
Did Campbell fill you in on how nasty it can get too, as far as the fans and growing things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He told us a few stories.
Yeah, for sure. He told us a few stories as well. So we'll see if they hold true. Maybe back in Dan's day they were doing that stuff. I don't know if they're throwing whatever they're throwing at the bus, whatever he was. I don't even know.
In your assessment, do you see the pass rush being as consistent as you'd like it to be? I mean, obviously last game, I think, Brian had
Noise gate's terrible for these guys.
Of the 2 sacks, and so not as much pressure, I guess, or getting home for the defensive line as maybe you guys would have liked. I mean, do you feel like it's at a good place, or how would you describe it, I guess?
Yeah, looking at that game, it was kind of a weird game. I felt they were trying to take the D-line out of play a little bit and kind of throwing those fades and kind of the quicker throws a little bit. But ultimately, we're just going to move on to the next week, really. And some games, it's like that. I mean, it's for every team. It's not like you're going to have 6 sacks collectively every game, but obviously, since none of the D linemen got a sack, I mean, we're all feeling very motivated to get back on the production board.
Philly's a tough place to play, but they also run one of the toughest places to stop in the NFL. Your thoughts on what it takes to stop the tush push and the challenge that awaits potentially?
Yeah, it's just got to find a way. It's I don't think anybody's quite cracked it yet, but I trust Big DJ Reader in the middle to get the job done. He's stopped a few QB sneaks in his day, so it's gonna be a great battle.
How do you practice something like that, though? That some people say is unstoppable.
You can't really practice a QB sneak. It's a battle of will.
So you just never let them get into a 3rd and 1, right?
That's right. We battle them
easy, right? Yeah, of course. Come on now.
All right. Now, their noise gate is absolutely terrible. All I heard was a bunch of hiss and noise and garbage. Kind of weird. Like, Aiden didn't know what his injury was? How does that happen? So either he was caught in a situation where he doesn't know what's going to be listed, which that's not right. Like, they're supposed to list whatever the injury is, or I think to someone's comment in the chat that maybe he didn't want to lead on to tell anybody what it was going to be. Maybe he's told not to say what the injury is. The answer, he needs to go speak with PR is what Aiden needs to do. I think he does a pretty good job, but he needs to go speak with the PR team immediately and say, I need the boilerplate answers. I know he seems like he never tries to give the boilerplate answers, but he needs the boilerplate answers. When you're asked about an injury report, the boilerplate answer is when the injury report comes out, then that's when the injury is known, or when the injury report comes out, then you'll know. I leave that up to the training staff. That's a Dan Campbell question. It's that simple. Like, just don't give an answer. Give an answer, but don't give an answer. You can't say, I don't know what the injury is. I think it's something upper body. Well, are you even injured? What's going on? Well, I can tell you real quick what's going on if you haven't seen it. Let me pull it up. Because that, to me, just seems ultra fishy, especially when teams have already been penalized this year for screwing with the injury report. You don't want that to happen to the Lions. But here's what we have. Terrion Arnold, concussion. Did not practice. Aiden Hutchinson, elbow. Did not practice. Not concerned. Kirby Joseph, still out with a knee. Did not practice. Sam Laporta with a back. Did not practice. Penei Sewell with an ankle. Sione Vaki with another injury. Another ankle. Brock Wright with an ankle. Did not practice. Both of those guys. All the rest of these guys were limited, except for the last one. Marcus Davenport, Taylor Decker, Miles Frazier, Graham Glasgow, Pat O'Connor, Joshua Pascal, Jacob Sailors, and DJ Reed. All limited. Shoulder, knee, back, hamstring. What is it? Shoulders, knees, and toes. Shoulders, knees, and toes. Whatever, how it goes. Malcolm Rodriguez with a knee, full participant. He's the only one that is fully healthy on the injury report. What is that? 15, 16 players on the injury report this week? Jeez. Gamesmanship. I think a lot of this is gamesmanship. You're going into a game that is must win. I'm glad that Aiden said that. I was a little bit taken back when he said this is a game that we've had circled on the roster that we've been talking about for a while, because typically what you hear from the players is, I don't even know what next week's game is. I think that's a BS answer. They know what the next game is. They know what's coming up. I'm glad that they, at least Aiden admits that they've had this one circled because they were hoping to see this team last year. And I think this is the first time we've played the Eagles since 2021, right? Was it 2021? Were we actually hung with that team, I believe? Or is it 2022? I'm sorry. I think it was 2022. Yeah, there we go, cruising. 2022. And was that not like our first game or second game coming out of the preseason? Or third game? Where was it? Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. I thought it was one of the first games. It was. It was the first game out of the preseason, September 11, 2022, 38-35. Like, we should have won that game. We should have won that game. But I will tell you what happened in this game that, man, I was pissed off at Aiden. I was so furious. The way that he played that game, and I think he just kind of said something to that fact because he's grown up, quite a bit since this game. He opened up his edge wide open to Jalen Hurts. And who was the running back then? Sanders, Miles Sanders. God, I think he had like 100 yards or more than 100 yards. Jalen Hurts had 90 or 100 yards. They put up a shit ton of running yards against us on the ground. Let me just look it up. Team stats. Wow. Well, I guess we both did good. 216 rushing yards for the Eagles, 181 for the Lions. I'm surprised we had that many rush yards against the Eagles. 5.8 per carry for the Lions, 6.3 for the Eagles. First down efficiency, which I was going to get into more of this tomorrow, talking about the old game, but just a quick recap. Lions had 23 first downs. They had 27. We were 9 of 14 on third down. They were 10 of 17. We were 1 for 1 on fourth down. They were 2 of 3. We had 66 plays. They had 72. Both teams only had 1 sack. We had 4 punts. They had 3. Penalties. We had 7. They had 10. We didn't lose any fumbles, but we did throw 1 interception. So pretty even game. Total yards, we were separated by 70 yards in this game, which would fit to, them having about 6 more plays. Clearly, they were going to have a few more yards, especially when you're averaging, what was it? What is that? 455. 455 divided by what? 72? 6.3 yards. So that's about 40 more yards just on an average. They had 6.3 yards per attempt or per down, if you will. Per play. So anyway, let me go back to the run game. Yeah, Jalen Hurts had 90. Sanders had 96. I thought they both got over 100, but 7.4 yard average for Miles Sanders. This will be on tape-review tonight, and it will be on the other channel. I'm not going to do tape-review on this channel because I don't want to hurt this channel with possibilities of copyright. I have a license from the NFL to use, but it's limited to certain things, so I really can't show plays. It will be members only tonight, so if you're a member, you'll be in. Which, that channel doesn't have any members. Never mind, I can't do members only on that channel. I guess it'll be members only here tonight. I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and do a full review and probably clip some plays. And I'm just going to key in on a few plays from last week's game. And I'm going to key in on a few plays from the Green Bay and Eagles game from this Monday night to kind of show us a few things to look at. And then I think what the best thing for me to do is I think I should just create a Dropbox, a members only Dropbox that I can upload it to the Dropbox and then you can go in and get it. And that's what I was going to use Patreon for, but that would be another thing that you have to subscribe to. And I want to put all of the memberships and everything over there eventually. But I know a lot of you like to have your membership here because of the clout that you get, but or however you want to, it's a bad word. But I'd have to make it really cheap here so that you could have a membership in both spots. So anyway, moving on. I wanted to get to one more, and that is Marcus Davenport. I think he's the last one I wanted to get to today. Let me check my list. Hassanein, Goff, Hutch, Reed. Yep, Davenport. Want to get into Davenport. I can't wait to see him back on the field, man. I really can't. Like, this is going to change our season.
Get back into it and start helping this team out again. A defense.
Why is their audio so trash? Like, figure it out, people. I'm gonna have to take all the time to download these.
Get back into it and start helping this team out again. A defense that's playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, as like you said, I'm eager, and there's not much to it besides that.
What's the process been like for the last few weeks, months for you and your mindset trying to get back?
Watching everybody have fun, taking the losses hard, and just missing it. Simple.
What did you lean on during that process? Just obviously you've been through it before, but just how did you keep your head about you?
Family, reading, the guys around here. Yeah.
Anything? Yeah. What kind of reading? Yeah.
I started back in the Bible. I looked a little bit into Zen. I found one of my teammates, Grant, recommended a literature RPG, if anybody knows what that is. Audiobook, I suggest it. And shoot, a lot of TV.
When you're watching these games, unable to be a part of it, are you looking at it from tape, or are you analyzing this stuff, or are you just trying to be calm and maybe exercise patience?
I'm not really a patient person. As much as I can wait, it's never patiently. A lot of it's been rather, I don't want to just say emotional, but my energy spikes, my energy drops. I'm watching the D line. I'm like, damn, it's just things that happen to be when you're a football player.
You were able to be around during that process and all the meetings and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, I've been able to be around. Shout out to the guys for keeping me in it.
Is there a date you have circled that you're hoping to return by?
That's what I love to hear right there, is the fact that the guys are keeping Davenport involved. And I want to be very, very clear. And I'll be very clear in about 40 seconds here. Let me let this video finish.
Today.
So what about on a Sunday?
Today. So, yeah.
Is there a plan mapped out, a realistic time or a week you think you can get back on the field in the game?
Realistic. Like I said, today. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. I'm not sure what exactly he's trying to say there. Is he back? Is he going to be up this weekend? He said today 3 times in a row. So he's asked on when he could get back, when's a realistic date that he could get back, when could he see himself playing. Maybe it's just him saying that he's ready to go. And man, my ear's bugging out. Hold on. Maybe he's just saying that he's ready to go and that if he was inserted in the game plan, that he would be up and ready and good to go. And that's great. That's great to hear. But I want to be very clear about something. Marcus Davenport is absolutely a huge part of this team. And I know that he has received a bad rap because of certain individuals that just don't know how to treat people well. If you notice, the common denominator, the common theme from certain individuals is that he's a bum, he's a punk, he's a waste, he's this, he's that. And And it is not how you treat people. And I think that when you see that and how other people treat people, I guess it doesn't surprise you when they try to treat other people a certain way too. Marcus Davenport, I don't care about his injury history. I don't care what happened last year. I don't care what happened 3 years ago. I don't care what happened 5 or 10 years ago. I care about what happens in this season and every new season, because every year is a new year, right? Aiden, last year, if you want to go by the same methodology, Aiden missed the entire season outside of 5 weeks. Played in 4.5 games, right? It was 4.5 games. He got injured week 6. We had week 5 off. So he played in 4.5 games. So if you go by history in Aiden's young career, in his 3rd season, he misses an entire season pretty much, then you would say, well, he's going to suck this year because he missed all of those games. Carlton Davis, I said this the same thing. He missed 23% of all of the games that he played as a pro. Marcus Davenport hasn't missed that many games as Carlton Davis. So why did we not put Davenport on the same pedestal as Carlton Davis? Right? I mean, if he missed less games, Carlton got paid a boatload of money. And he missed 23% of the games, again, because he got injured, broke his jaw. But when he was in, he played great. When he was out, he didn't play. Same thing for Marcus Davenport. Anytime that dude has been in the game, he plays great. And just about every game he's been in, which I get it, it's only been about, 4 or 5 games over 2 seasons so far. Aiden has had some of his best games. There's a reason for that. And now that you're chipping Aiden 26% of the time, or whatever the number is, and he's doubled 48% of the time, and now all of a sudden those numbers have switched. It used to be Aiden was like doubled, according to PFF, 68, 70% of the time, which is a crazy number. And that's pass rush attempts. That's not every attempt, right? It's not every play. It's just pass rush. Dropbacks. Aiden's not winning the one-on-ones. But when Marcus Davenport is back in this game, I mean, AQM's been doing a great job, but I'm going to tell you right now that AQM doesn't hold a candle to what Davenport does with a bull rush. AQM does have a good bull rush, but he's a little bit light in the pants. He's a little bit light in the pants when it comes to, I know Brad loves the height, weight, speed, right? He doesn't. But he's 6'3", 250. And yeah, when you look at him, he's all cut up, right? Big, puffy arms. And that's part of, being 6'3", 250 and being cut up, right? He's a little bit light. He's like 35, 40 pounds lighter than Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport is 6'6", 285. Probably plays anywhere between 280 and 295. And he can move. But you've heard it from Decker, from Manu, and I'm repeating myself because these are all things that are valid. You can't stop his bull rush. Watch him in the game. I'll try to go find some video today and add it to the list tonight. Watch what he does. That bull rush, he's pushing that tackle right into the pocket. So it's an immediate pressure. You can't hold on to Aiden and chip him that long if Davenport has him pushed in the pocket. That's exactly what he's brought in to do. It's not to be this speed end. It's to be the power end. The can crusher is what AG used to call it. He's the power end. He's the guy that is supposed to go in and wreak havoc, set an edge. He's great in the run game, and you don't let anything outside of you. He doesn't take this big wide bending arc. That's what Aiden does. He takes more of a straight angle. He takes much better angles than what Aiden does. And that's what he's utilized for. He's got a big, wide stretch as far as a wingspan goes, and he plays with proper leverage. And so I'm hoping that Davenport is going to stay healthy the rest of the season. Because if he does, I don't think you guys are in for what's about to happen. And so I'm calling my shot right now. Bold take Friday. I'm going to give you one bold take right now. If Marcus Davenport is healthy the rest of this season, this will be a top 5 defense. It might even be better than that. But this defensive line that is already playing as one of the most elite defensive lines in the league, number 2 in sacks before, tonight's game or whatever, number 3 in sacks before last week's game, I meant. Not that sacks matter, but the TFLs. That's what matters. That's what I've been saying all season. It's what I've been saying since last year. And the year before that is it's the TFLs that matter. Forget the sacks. You have 5 sacks in a game and we lose the game. That's happened on multiple occasions over the last 3 seasons. The sacks don't win. The TFLs do, right? And containing the edge and being able to control the line of scrimmage, that's what wins football games. Getting DJ Reed back is going to amplify what goes on in that defensive line. Right? As soon as our DBs are back and healthy, that is going to provide the proper stickiness. It's going to take them a couple of games, but maybe by week, what are we heading into, 11? So maybe by week 13, 14, you're going to start to see this defense take a huge change. And it might happen more immediate. As soon as Davenport and Reed are back in and playing like they can play, it might be a little bit more immediate than what I'm guessing. But I'm going to say you give it 2 games with DJ Reed and Marcus Davenport in the game together with Aiden Hutchinson. You give it 2 games with all of those guys playing together, with Aleem McNeil, right? With DJ Reader, with Jack, with Anzo, with Barnes, with Branch. Don't even need Kirby for this one, but with Kirby, hopefully. You wait and see what happens to this defense. It'll be the best defense we've ever seen. And we're going to go into a gauntlet of the schedule where we need it. These guys are getting back and they're getting healthy at the right time. And if the Lions are smart, which I know they are, you now have Josh Paschal. You have Marcus Davenport. You have AQM. You have Aiden Hutchinson. Ahmed Hassanein parked in the garage right now, getting ready. Lacey's played incredibly well. Wheat has played incredibly well. Wait and see. So that video that will pop out today, I promise I'll get them done, is Brad Holmes seeing the field, making the right calls. Just because you were wrong and you thought that we needed to go out and get somebody, you didn't see what was coming around the corner. And what's coming around the corner is multiple guys that have already been playing together, guys that have played together last year, that are coming back healthy at the right time. If you would have told me that we're going to get 3 defensive ends back for the last 6 games of the season before the playoffs, I would have said you're nuts. And if you would have told me that you're going to get Aleem McNeil back with half the season to go, and he's already number 10 in the list of double teams, I would have said ain't no way. And the way that he's already playing. And if you would have told me that our rookie Tyleek Williams, which I expected him to play at a high level, that he was going to get beat out by Roy Lopez, that would have been a shocker. But as you heard me say the other day, I wasn't as shocked because I expected that from Roy Lopez because I watched his damn film. He was underutilized in Arizona. He had some guys around him and ahead of him. He didn't get enough playing time. But when he was in, oh man, he was giving Frank Ragnow fits when he went up against Frank. He was probably one of the best DTs to take on Frank last season. It was last season we played the Cardinals, right? It wasn't 23. It was last season. So we're getting healthy at the right time. This is a much different change to the tune of this team from a year ago, where we were continuing to drop guys left and right, especially when we got to Thanksgiving or week 15, whatever it was against the Bills, and we lost 2-3 more guys. Between Aleem McNeil or Malcolm Rodriguez or who else went out around that time? Who else did we lose? Anyway, we lost plenty of guys. Who do we lose? David Montgomery, torn MCL. Lee McNeil, concussion. He ended up being done for the season. Josh Pascal with a knee injury. I think he only missed a game. Levi Onwuzurike with a hamstring injury. DJ Reader with a shoulder injury. We had all sorts of stuff going on, but in that game, we lost to Lee McNeil for the year. This year, we lost Levi Onwuzurike to start the season. The fact that we've maintained at 6-3 and we've lost games to pretty tough opponents. The Minnesota game we shouldn't have lost. The Packers game we shouldn't have lost, but those teams came to play us. And Johnny Morton screwed us. Right? The Chiefs are the Chiefs. That was the refs game. But that's still a really good football team, or they were. They've struggled ever since. And I think that that's because the NFL is controlling that narrative pretty hard and making sure that they don't prop up the Chiefs after all the fallout happened. But the point that I'm trying to make, and here's the hot take, or the bold take, the bold hot take, is that Marcus Davenport is going to be one of the keys as to why this defense takes the next step. Along with DJ Reed, because they both play on the same side of the field primarily. But those two guys coming back to this defense, with Pascal coming back and what he was able to do last year, and playing in a primary defensive end role, which he's never had to do since playing at UK. He learned a ton. He got better as a football player. And now he's healthy with fresh legs. Davenport has fresh legs. DJ Reed has fresh legs. It is going to push this defense over top to the point where, you know, my magic number of staying at 19.9999 points per game, the Lions are definitely going to get there. We're probably going to start holding teams to under 14 points per game while we put up 35 plus. This team is going to thrive in the second half. And as these guys get inserted back in the game, this defense will be a top 5 defense before week 15. That is the bold hot take, assuming these guys are all in the game, and I expect them to be. That means we need to climb 2 or 3 more spots, and we should be able to do it. But pay attention to what happens to Aiden Hutchinson. Pay attention to what happens to Lee McNeil. Because both of those players are set to explode right now with these players coming back. So if you don't think, and that's really the take, if you don't think that these players are valuable to the team, DJ Reed, of course, is. But a guy like Marcus Davenport, just watch what happens to their stats on the other side of the field. We'll see what happens. He's got to hit the field. He's got to stay on the field. And when it happens, that is when Aiden Hutchinson is going to have his best, most complete games. The reason is simple. You can't do what you're doing right now to Aiden when you have a guy like Davenport on the other side. You really can't do it with a guy like AQM. But the Lions have been playing from a position of do what you have to do to win the game. It's almost like that bend but don't break defense, but not quite. And the reason why I say that is because the Legion of Whom is not who we expected to be in the game right now. When your back end is severely impacted in the secondary, you can't do everything you're trying to do on the defensive line. When all of these things start to kind of rekindle a little bit and the fire starts to burn, these guys are all going to be way better than they have been during the first half of the season. And they've played great the first half of the season. But now you're starting to see what it means to have a secondary. Remember the one guy out there that was saying that coverage sacks are trash and you know, no team wants coverage sacks and that's, you know, the poor man's way out or whatever the hell people were saying. What has Aiden said this year multiple times? We thrive on coverage sacks. It's what a defense needs and wants. Came out of Aiden's mouth. So when you don't have a secondary that's healthy, it's kind of hard to do your job. But when you do have a secondary that's healthy and they are able to stay sticky for more than 3 seconds, that is when your defense is going to start to win. So unless Aiden can win in less than 2.45 seconds, which doesn't happen, I don't care what team it is, nobody's doing it. You're not going to get a ton of sacks naturally that way. It takes a collective. That's why there's 11 guys on the field, not two ends, not two edge rushers. There's 11 guys on the field. It takes all 11 just like it does on offense. You can't just totally take over, a game anymore with just one guy. It hasn't been that way for a while. So I don't know if people stopped watching football for 5 years or 8 years or whatever it's been. But the minute that they started heavily penalizing hits over the middle and defenseless receivers, the game changed then. That is when everything changed defensively, and offenses were then able to get the ball out quicker and not have to worry about taking a hit over the middle, which meant that the guys that didn't care about the rule, that did get the penalty, well, they just gave your offense a first down and 15 yards. But moreover than not, they're not committing those penalties. So that gives the offense an outlet. You always should have a guy coming over the middle. That is your outlet pass. One of. And I know I've kind of covered a few different points here, but the point that I'm really trying to make is the game changed to where the defense had to do something different. And I think the biggest thing that changed probably in the last 10 years is that it was no longer just left tackle that you have to worry about on an offense. Right tackle has totally redefined the offensive line. Most teams only had a left tackle, and most teams only cared about having a left tackle. Now, if you look around the league, most teams are pairing up left and right tackle so that you can't attack from one side. And so that's why it is difficult to win on any given day unless you have coverage ability behind them. And beyond that, you need to have a middle linebacker that knows what the hell he's doing. And you have to have coverage over the middle because they're able to get the ball out over the middle. And that's where Shepard has been, I think, very instrumental in making sure that, just like Anzalone said the other day, they did have a spy against Mariota. Exactly what I put in the keys to the game. Anzalone said it. We had one guy on the QB, right? And then they had one guy in coverage. So same kind of thing you're going to see this weekend. You're going to have a spy on Hurts, and you're going to have a guy in coverage, and you're going to have an extra guy hanging up in the box, which means you need good coverage ability behind them. So you just watch how this defense changes, man. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited about it. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm way past the point of where I wanted to go today, like way past the point. I got a lot of stuff I still got to get done. So I'm going to get out of here. You guys have been great. And tomorrow is going to be mostly Eagles all day. I'm going to try to do some more evening shows. I remember when I first started this, it was Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 o'clock, and I've kind of given up that time slot a little bit. But I know if I do it a little bit more, probably starting at 7 as opposed to 8. Last night I just got home late. I do want to start doing the pregame breakdowns like I used to do. Instead of doing it just in the morning show, it'll probably be the same exact show. Like half of a Friday is all Eagles or all opponent, excuse me. But I used to break it down. I used to break down offense, defense, and defense, offense in 2 separate shows, Tuesdays and Thursdays, depending on when the Lions played. If they played on a Thursday, I would do it like Tuesday, Wednesday, or just one complete show. So I do want to start doing a little bit more. The Q&A, the live Q&A, it's not working. It's either not working because I picked a stupid time or we're just not getting enough people to participate. So we've got to get either people to participate or I've just got to change up what I'm doing for the show. And we'll just take calls normally instead of calling it a Q&A. Because I think people get turned off by it just being a Q&A. I don't know why people don't like to call in, but I'll just leave the line open while we're trying to cover things. But it's kind of hard for me to do coverage and then the phone rings because then it kind of screws up where you're at. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, the goal is to get you guys on the line. I used to do a dedicated show every week a year ago that was just called, it was Fan Day. It was Fan Hotline Day or whatever it was. And we used to get a lot of callers, a lot of callers. I would love to get back to that because your comments, your stories, that's more important than anything. What you guys have to say is way more important than anything will ever come out of my mouth. So let the fans hear you. Call and use a fake name. I don't care. Don't use a name. Make up a name. I don't care what it is. Your phone number doesn't go anywhere. It stays in a system, and unless I store it, just so I know who you are when you're calling next time, then it's not stored, but it's not shared. It's not given out. I'm not calling you. I'm not texting you at 3 a.m. I'm not drunk texting you or sexting you, whatever they do now, these kids. Not sending, D-bag pics, right? Not doing that kinds of stuff. So call in, man. Have a conversation, or use Google Voice. Get a fake number. If you don't want to use your phone number, just get a fake number. It's free. So do what you got to do. You guys have a wonderful day. And please subscribe and share DetroitFootballJournal.com. Get it out there, man. Crack the top 100. And how far can we take that? All right, that's just next on the list. We're just going to keep on winning while the others keep on hating. Thank you guys for rocking with the real Rockdown Detroit Lions. You guys take care. Go One Pride, go Detroit Lions. See you in the next one. Adios.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down.